Hello everybody, happy holidays and welcome to a new episode of the VIBECAST. We're not dead, we just take a long time to put out new episodes. So, shut up anyway. I'm thinking Aldi's goes in A.
Aldi's is definitely an A tier.
Okay.
I mean, like, you can't beat the prices.
But they are good prices. Now, what do you think about blowjobs?
Blowjobs, wholesale.
I'm thinking
wholesale blowjobs.
Wholesale blowjobs, they're nice. But I think B is like a good, like, I like going to some blowjobs.
The only problem is that you need the membership.
Now, if you
need
have
the membership for the blowjob.
Now, I have a blowjob membership. I actually quite enjoy my blowjob membership. My my in-laws actually gave me their membership.
Oh,
so it's great for cheap gas. I guess
your in-laws aren't going to be using it anymore, right? You know, because they're married.
Why would that? Oh, let's not bank on stereotypes, GC. Come on.
Fine.
So Costco.
Yeah. I'm
thinking bold on this one. A or S, and the reason why. Have you had a
because it's better than BJ's?
Have you had a Costco hot dog?
I've definitely had a Costco hot dog.
Costco hot dogs are consistently good. I say we put that in S just for the hot dogs.
For the hot dog, but I would like to make a note and say wholesale supermarkets lose points for me because you go like once and you're stocked for a year and then you end up spending a ton of money every time you go because they only sell things in wholesale.
I'm not from US and BJ sounds like a store straight from Saints Row 2. You're right.
It's short for Berkeley Jensen's.
Okay, there's this thing over here that you're probably gonna need to tell me about.
Which one? Fresco y Mas?
Okay, because on my end it just says Rezo.
Yeah, it's because it's cut. You can actually see the other picture further down.
Oh, why are there two?
Yeah, because
why are there two Publixes and what?
Yeah, because they figured people wouldn't get it the first time. Anyway, so Fresco y Mas is the Winn-Dixie of
I've been to
South
a Winn-Dixie.
Florida. So Winn-Dixie is a grocery store.
Winn-Dixie's on here too.
Their locations got bought out by Fresco y Mas. Whoever owned the franchise of Winn-Dixie's down here. Winn-Dickies. They bought it and they changed it into a Spanish-oriented store because that was their biggest clientele. So it's like Winn-Dixie, but for Spanish-speaking people, for Hispanic people.
Well, I feel like if we put that any lower than a B, we're racist.
No, it's okay. You could probably put Fresco y Mas at like a C because it's sort of like a department grocery store, if that makes sense.
Not huge into department stores.
Yeah, it's like if Walmart, it's like if all Walmart did was sell food.
Okay, well now you're making me think like that's actually pretty cool sounding. Okay, let's get it out of the way. Where are we at on Walmart? Like a D?
I want to say it's like the lowest of C because even a bad Walmart.
No, a bad Walmart will give you a panic attack.
True.
Like I had a panic attack in a bad Walmart. Like I when I first went off to college, I went to this town literally called Farmville, Virginia. And the Walmart was like it was their like best, most boppin' thing in the entire town. And it was like this decrepit, scary looking Walmart with like flickering lights. I'm going to say right now, small towns are the worst and they're evil.
Hey folks, in case you didn't know,
and
here in America,
terrible.
A lot of towns lose their shit over their Walmarts because it's literally the only thing to do there is to go to the Walmart.
I did go to Farmville from Facebook. I thought that was really funny and quirky too until I realized that town sucks. It's terrible.
If Farmville was a grocery store, it'd be the F tier grocery store.
It'd be Walmart.
I don't think Walmart's an F tier. I don't think it's a D tier either. I think Walmart is like a solid bottom of the
I'm sorry you weren't traumatized by Walmart's bottom.
Walmarts are influenced by where the Walmart is. Because I've been to bad Walmarts, but I've been to Walmarts and I'm like...
But I've never been to a Walmart above a C.
Fine. Exactly.
So I'd say D is fine. Because if
Fine.
the peak of Walmart is C,
It's just like, what's bare minimum? Because I feel like that's what Walmart is. Walmart's
D.
like the bare minimum. D, okay.
that kind of sounds like Junez from P4. It is exactly like Junez from P4
Yeah,
with
that's
less
pretty much.
charm. Anyway,
Well, no, Juness is more like Sears. Because they sell like
Sears is
TVs
pretty
and shit.
alright. Sears is
Yeah.
pretty alright. You
Back
know
when
what?
it was alive.
Juness is actually kind of sick. I love the way
Yeah.
they destroyed that small town. Fresh Market. I'm gonna put that in S. Do you go to Fresh
You've been to
Market
Fresh
often?
Market? I've never been to a Fresh Market.
There is a Fresh Market in walking distance to where I work. I go there every day almost.
Wow.
The market is fresh.
The market is fresh.
The market is fresh.
The bot is banned and the
The
market
bot
is
has been
fresh.
shot. Like I was eating a baguette when we hopped on call. I got that from Fresh Market. They got a
Oh,
good
okay.
selection of drinks as well.
You know, they actually just opened a Fresh Market not too far from where I live, so I should try to go.
It's a bit pricey, but I like it.
Because the Fresh Market people are pretentious. How do you feel about the Fresh Market people?
As a Fresh Market person, I do my best to not. Okay, well, I need to. Okay, I might need to move this to A because I don't use that as a grocery store.
You use that as a thing to pick up
Like
weird things or
yeah.
grab things from the window.
Well, I go into like their drink section, which I always like. I like looking through their like coffees, their little bottled coffees. They have some really fun and weird ones. I like their bread, their bakery section. You go.
So you use it as a novelty.
Yeah, you go to Fresh Mart for very specific things. It's mostly health food.
Right.
You don't like. I see people go there to buy all their groceries, and I'm like, that's dumb. You are dumb. So I will put it at A.
That's a lot of money.
Now,
A lot of money to be spending on groceries.
yeah. Where are we at on Publix?
Publix is a solid A. At its worst, at its absolute
never been.
worst, Publix is a low B.
I'm going to put this where you want me to.
I would give Publix the A.
All right, you're giving it that A.
I would give it the A.
So,
I would give it the A, but I would put it sort of at the bottom of A.
what's a Sedano?
A Sedano's is a Hispanic grocery store. It is specifically for Hispanic groceries. Sedano's is really cool. The only problem is that whenever you go into a Sedano's, every single Sedano's is lit like a grocery store from a horror movie or an Evil Dead movie, where the lighting is very white and it casts a harsh shadow on everybody.
I hate
and
that.
it looks like it's going to get shot up,
Like the one
or
from Hot
a
Fuzz?
monster. Kind of. It's literally like picture a horror movie. Picture like the way it's color corrected. You know how horror movies are color corrected?
Well,
be,
yeah,
like,
when it's in like a
bleached?
fluorescent, yeah, bleached like
It looks cold.
sterile.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it looks like. That's what the inside of a Sedano's looks like.
I hate shit like that.
So it's really good. I take my friends there when I want to culture shock them because I have white friends that have never been inside of a Sedano's. And
That haven't
sometimes
even
I take
met
them
any
there.
Hispanic people.
Yeah, and sometimes I take them there and I go, look, this has been here the whole time.
And they go, ah!
Yeah, and they're weirded out and they're like a little grossed out because the produce is managed poorly. So I would give Sedano's a high C, low
I thought,
B.
wait. Oh, I thought we were at AB. Or was that, no, that was Publix. All right, so where are we putting it?
I'd give
have
it the high C. I think it's better than Fresco y Mas because it's not as generic.
But that's where they're both.
What do you mean?
GC, the optics of us putting the Hispanic grocery stores at C tier. It's not a great look for us, buddy.
Put it at low B then. What do you want?
But I asked you to decide where
I
you
said
wanted.
low B, high C.
No, and then you said put it at C, and I'm like,
Unfortunately, the reality is that Hispanic businesses don't have as much money or as much of a budget or
Okay.
as much presence to have better infrastructure for their grocery stores. That is the reality of the situation.
that's fair.
Yes, they're in the C tier and the low B tier. If I could help it, I would put them in A and S, but they are simply
Look,
not there.
As BJ shows up, sometimes a nice B is all you need.
A nice B is all you need.
Hire me, BJ's. I'll be the best marketer.
I'll do it for a membership.
All right. Where are we at on Aldi's again? We already have Aldi's. All right, never
We
mind.
already got Aldi's.
This
Whole
list is
Foods.
not great. Whole Foods.
Why would you shop at Whole Foods?
You know what you do at Whole Foods? You go to the very expensive restaurant attached to the Whole Foods once every 5 years.
Yep, usually it's a Shake Shack.
No, they have like their own
Trader Joe's.
Yeah, oh, Trader Joe's we might as well knock out next. I'm thinking Whole Foods is like a C.
Whole Foods is like the shit tier of health food stores, which means it's not in the Walmart category, but like give it a couple years.
It'll get there.
You ever seen a Whole Foods that's been open for longer than 10 years?
No.
It looks like shit.
Trader Joe's.
Nobody goes there anymore.
I'm thinking that's like a B.
Trader Joe's kind of gets away with a lot of shit. I'm gonna give it a B too, just because it's that store that like I should hate you.
You just can't get yourself to do it. I just can't
bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
Like Whole Foods absorbs all of it.
Like Whole Foods is that like in the comic the troop hanging over like the child's bed, taking all the bullets, and Trader Joe's is just there leeching
exactly
off our wonderful troops.
Trader Joe's is like another good point towards Trader Joe's is that unlike Whole Foods, Trader Joe's has weird shit. Trader Joe's is not afraid to stock weird shit, and I do like weird shit. I appreciate it when grocery stores stock weird shit.
I think the only thing left that's not a repeat is Target and Winn-Dixie.
All right, well, Winn-Dixie, you can give Winn-Dixie the C, because Winn-Dixie is just fresco y más, except it's Americanized and it sucks.
Okay.
And Target, we can. Where do you feel on Target? I feel like Target gets a bad rep because
I do as well.
I think people hear Target and they go, oh, so it's just like Walmart but red, and it's like no, Targets are kept so much so much more better condition. Their price points are higher.
Yes,
but the quality is better. And
also, I feel like Walmart prices have been increasing as of late, and they haven't really improved their store to reflect that. Whereas,
correct,
Walmart and Target are basically like neck and neck at this point in prices. So I'd rather just walk around a place that didn't have dim lights.
I'd rather walk around a Target because they have a standard.
It's nice to walk around. Yeah, it's nice to walk around a Target. I could get lost in the Target.
Target, rats. You know what you see a lot of at a Walmart? Rats.
You've seen a rat at a Walmart?
I've seen multiple rats at Walmarts. Several different Walmarts. I've never seen a single rat at a Target.
You haven't seen me at a Target then. But I like Target. I could
walk through the aisles like.
I quite enjoy Target. I also can walk to a Target from my office, and I go there on days where I don't like bring lunch. I'll just walk to the like frozen food aisle at Target, grab like a frozen meal. They're pretty decently priced, and then I'll just walk back to my office, put it in the microwave, eat it like that.
Yep. Sometimes I'll go into a Target just to go to the Starbucks because it's always the least packed Starbucks.
Okay, and also Starbucks at Targets are pretty good.
They're better than
regular Starbucks. I don't know how they do it. I don't get it. Like it's like they all want to be there, and granted, you know, I'm not no hate towards like workers at Starbucks. I hope y'all unionize.
You should.
You really should. But like just somehow I think the Target influence at Target Starbucks makes them just built better.
They're better there.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's because it's a smaller store, so there's less people. So like, you know, I don't know. Foot traffic's not as bad because the people that go to Target don't care about Starbucks. Like
no.
There's actually very few people who go to Target and are like, oh, let me stop at the Starbucks.
That's always me. That is always me.
Guy.
I am that guy.
I'm the reason they have the cup holders in the carts at the Target.
See, interesting enough, I always do it as something to get on my way out.
Sure, I do it on my way out. Sometimes if I'm like there early, I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah, because I like leaving my errand with a nice treat.
Mm-hmm.
I love my fruity little beverages.
If I'm hungry, sometimes I'll do it before so that it suppresses my hunger and I do more responsible shopping.
Good idea.
You know what I mean? All that coffee.
Always a good idea to eat before you go to the grocery store.
I've never done it.
I have.
I always get my food after I do grocery shopping.
Granted, there's a downside where you overcorrect, but it's like, I don't need this, and then you have to go back to the grocery store in a couple of days.
Is you gotta pick one or the other.
So where are we putting it?
Honestly, you can put, as far as like grocery stores go, I don't wanna put it better than Aldi's. I want to say it's below B? Aldi's. It's below Aldi's, but above Fresh Market in the A tier.
Oh, okay, so it does belong in A.
I think Target belongs in A, just because it's like, it's so easy to be a good grocery store. You just need to have a certain standard of cleanliness, and you need to like not make me feel like shit when I go.
Yeah.
And Target has never done me wrong. I gotta say, a Target has never done me wrong. I've never been to a bad Target.
Yeah, me neither.
Even in like a bad neighborhood, let's like run down, you walk into the Target's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody walks into a Target and respects the Target.
I lived next to a Target in my last place, which was not a nice area. And the Target was like a bastion, pretty much, of cleanliness.
Yeah, you walk in and everyone's like, don't fucking ruin the Target.
Come on, the Target is our one safe space against life.
It is a neutral zone.
PvP is not enabled.
It's not enabled.
You take that somewhere else. You take that to Walmart.
You take that shit to Walmart. It's true, though. You know what? It's true. You know where they build Targets? In places where they believe people can be good. You know where they build Walmarts? Wherever the fuck they want. They build a Walmart in an empty lot in a small town to take advantage of people. They build Targets in places they compete, all right? I don't know, I'm talking out of my ass at this point. But the point is, I like Target.
That's a good cold open.
Yeah.
What do you think about, like, I don't know what these kind of stores are called. You know, like places like Ross?
Those are department stores. Those are department stores.
Well, no, but there's like a very specific type.
Well, those are like
TJ Maxx, Marshall,
they're
Ross, the clearance stores. What do you think about those?
I love them.
I hate them.
I used to hate them, and then I realized that the only difference between Ross and Goodwill are 4 letters.
Well, I didn't like Goodwill.
Oh my god, either. I love thrift shopping.
I'm not a big thrifter.
Oh my god, you gotta go to like a Marshall's or a Ross or a Goodwill, and you just gotta start looking, and like once you start like getting into the habit of looking and you start finding good shit, oh my god.
I will say one of the reasons I like TJ Maxx the most out of all of those, specifically for the home goods section.
Yeah,
they are the TJ Maxx is the only one of those that I think like I kind of like all this stuff.
Well, actually, Ross is where I found my toolkits for gunpla building.
Nice.
Ross is where I found like the cases to put my stuff in.
Ross is my number one enemy. It's my final boss.
Why?
My grandma used to take me to Ross's.
See?
And it bored the fuck out of me.
I used to hate it too because I used to get dragged to Ross's, and then I wisened up. You gotta go.
I will die stupid.
You gotta go and you gotta look. No, you gotta go and you gotta look because
stupid.
those places get really good shit. They get really good clothes.
No, they
don't. And the only problem with the clothes, they're just minor defects from like actual brands. Like that's the thing. That's what they specialize in. Those are the stores that get the stuff that doesn't pass certification in the factory. But not passing certification is, oh, we have one less button, like instead of like 8, it's 7. Throw it out, and it goes to that store, and then you get that same fucking thing for like half off.
But Ross has that problem that Walmart does, where it makes me feel like gross to be inside.
Definitely, some Rosses are like crowded.
Well, it's the lighting. It's that sterile, like gross lighting.
That I will accept. However, Goodwill has that lighting, but it's industrial as fuck. So it works.
I'm not backing any of these.
I'm dragging your ass. Dragging your ass to a thrift store.
I'm not going.
And you're actually going to have a good time.
No, I won't.
We can go to Marshall's. Marshall's doesn't have
Marshall's
the
is
white lighting.
Fine.
Marshall's has the yellow lighting. You'll be fine.
My girlfriend takes me to Marshalls and TJ Maxx all the time. I've grown to be
there you
less hateful.
Then you do like thrifting.
I don't like, well, I like being with my girlfriend, but Ross is the one store where I'll just be like, I'm not gonna have fun. I'll throw my little temper tantrum. I'm
You
like,
gotta let
I'm not
go
gonna
of
like
your.
it.
You gotta let go of your prior inhibitions.
No.
You gotta do it. Oh my
No,
God,
fuck
there's so many
Ross.
good deals at Ross. There's
Ross
so many
sucks.
good deals.
Ross
Are
is the
you
worst.
kidding me? You can buy a bottle of sriracha bigger than your head for $2.
Why would I need that?
Because who knows when you're gonna need sriracha?
You could buy a normal bottle of sriracha for like $1.
But it'll be big.
I don't need it big. All right,
It'll be very large.
I guess I can remove this window capture off of. Thank you for partaking in our experiment.
Chad, do you guys go thrift store shopping?
YouTube commenters, do you hate Ross?
That's not the question.
That's the question for the YouTubers.
Tell me your best thrift, because I know everyone's out there's been thrifting before. I don't even care if you ordered
That's
it
for
online
Twitch
and
chat.
you
That's
got
for
it on
Twitch
sale.
chat. YouTube commenters, you have to say either yes or yes on if you hate Ross.
Is this what we're doing? Are we gonna divide
We're musking?
the chat?
We're getting all musky.
Where Twitch chat is gonna be like on my side and YouTube is gonna be on your side? Is that what we're doing?
That's actually a not smart idea at all for me because we have a lot more chat presence than YouTube presence. But I'll bend the vote to my will no matter what I can do. I'll work with what I got.
Whatever.
It's chat's on your fucking side anyway.
It's true because I'm right. Because you're wrong. You should go thrifting.
No, I don't like this. I'm a bit of a germaphobe. I don't like touching stuff.
They wash everything.
I don't.
Everything gets washed.
doesn't-
Everything gets sterilized.
That doesn't help my sterilized like the lights.
Yeah, everything gets sterilized. Everything gets washed, and then when you take your stuff home, you
I
wash
can't
it
even.
again.
I can't even see you right now. You're just a
You can
big
just wash
blur.
it again.
You're just a big blur right now to me. I don't see anything.
I'm a germaphobe, and I'm not even like that.
You're not built as strong as I am.
Okay.
I'm on so many levels of paranoia.
Yeah, do you know how many people touched that green slime plushie before it got into your hands?
Me, I built it.
Did you ever think about the number of hands that touch the products that you put into your cart every day that touched it, then put it back?
Yeah, but those are the not sterilized lights actually burn off the germs.
Fluorescent light bulbs burn off germs now.
Yeah.
Do you want your tin hat? Do you want your tinfoil hat in aluminum or plastic?
Well, plastic could have like microplastics in it, and that could actually damage your body. So I'll take aluminum.
I hate you so much right now.
So I went to San Diego.
Yes, you did. Talk about it.
Did you know the human body can withstand a lot of alcohol?
Boy, howdy, do I.
Oh boy, howdy. You can find out more about this on rpgsite.net. RPG Site sent me to San Diego to play the new One Piece game. I actually don't have a lot to say about the One Piece game. I thought it was a very good Dragon Quest XI inspired RPG that I am looking forward to playing. But honestly, I really just loved San Diego. Like, one of the most beautiful cities I think ever built. Have you been to San Diego? Have you been there? Do you know about this?
No, I've been to San Fran.
How's San Fran?
San Fran's pretty good. It can get, some of the streets can be somewhat dirty, but you know, it's San Fran. That's kind of what you expect. San Francisco's an old place, so you know. But I love it.
San Diego is one
I like
of
it a
the
lot.
best designed cities I think I've ever been to. The
Really?
last city I had been to, in comparison though, was DC, and DC is one of the worst designed cities.
DC sucks.
DC is the worst. I hate DC so much. Where I was so surprised that the roads were very wide and the sidewalks were also very wide. And there's a train. Like, it is a city that is designed to be lived in.
San Diego.
San Diego.
Yeah.
Like, I I went and I genuinely had a fantastic time.
Well, city planning must have been on one, you know.
On one what?
City planning had that dog in them.
Oh, I had that dog in it. You didn't use that right initially. Don't worry, old man. You'll get it one day.
I know I will. But
but what I do hate though, and maybe you can relate to me on this when you talk about your trip in a second. God, airplanes fucking suck.
Airplanes are a nightmare. How long was your flight?
I had 2 days of 8-hour flights. It was miserable. American Airlines is as bad as all the comedians say it is. American Airlines is the worst. Like, I always thought Delta was bad. No, in comparison, Delta's amazing.
I actually really like Delta.
Delta is fine.
But that's because I mostly fly American.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. American Airlines is such a nightmare. I mean, I don't think this is an American thing. This is just like an airplane thing where now they don't make anybody wear a mask anymore, and people use that as an excuse to be the grossest motherfuckers possible.
Yeah.
Like everybody was coughing on my plane. I'm surprised I didn't get sick. I think I kind of, maybe I got a bug at some point, or like I started feeling a little bad a couple days after, but I'm not like, I don't got COVID or anything. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm doing pretty all right for myself.
It's pretty fucking embarrassing how like you get on a plane now, and it's like you would think even if we don't have to wear a mask, you would think people just would have remembered fucking manners.
Yeah.
And would just cover their mouth when they cough.
No, they go like,
or yeah, like they just open air
spit coughing on you.
I had a kid literally on my flight over
Congrats,
there.
what's his name?
Soren.
Oh,
that's what I would name my first child. My first boy. And then if I had a girl, I'd name her Sarah. Anyway, fucking some kid literally walked past me to go to the bathroom and he was looking at me on my Steam Deck and he went like right into my face while he was walking to the bathroom, and I was just like, why? Why would life bring me to this moment where a small child coughs directly onto my face?
I had and by the way, for context, for our non-American viewers, American Airlines is not, we're not talking about air travel in America. There's we have a company called American Airlines.
Yes.
And it really, you know what though, they're onto something, because that really is the American experience.
And people know, I think American flies out of other countries.
Oh
too.
yeah, I just want it just in case.
Just to clarify, yeah.
But I had a similar thing where after all the like, my trip home was way worse than my trip to San Diego. I got stuck in the Dallas airport. I want to say right now, Dallas airport, you are probably one of the bottom 5 airports of the entire world. Have you ever been to the Dallas?
Than Philly?
I haven't been to the Philly airport. Have you ever been to the Dallas airport?
I've never been to
They have made that shit so big it needs a train to take you around to all the different things.
Oh, well, yeah, that I know.
No, I'm gonna say you don't need.
I've been to airports that have that.
You don't need that. Especially
they have the tram.
You don't need to make the airport that big. You're wasting my fucking time. Especially when they're like, hey, we want you to catch.
If it's an international airport, it's gotta.
I think that they need to design it better. Like they had me land and they're like, your next plane gets off in 40 minutes. That's another thing. That's another fucking thing. Your
connecting
flights suck. But also connecting flights are something we've just been doing for eons now, basically. And the fact that they take so long to get people off their fucking planes, it's like, what? Like, I'm standing there in the back of my seat, in the back of the plane, waiting as they slowly just get like, and then this row.
You think there'd be a better system?
This row get off, and they all get off slowly. And like, and what's even more frustrating is, here's another thing. Why do you check in a fucking bag? You don't need to check your bag. You don't need to get a suitcase. You get a backpack, and you don't need a fucking suitcase.
Some people do.
No, you don't!
Some people are traveling for longer than a few days, Cullen.
Put it in the put your shit. But no, but then when you get off your plane, you just get your luggage at your destination.
Well, some people take forever to get their bags out of the overhead compartment, and that bothers me.
No, that's why I think it's a problem. It's like, you don't need to put that there.
I think it's fine as long as people grab their stuff and go. That's what I do. I just wait until I can go, and then I go.
I don't check in my bag. I have my backpack, and that's all I need.
You don't check in bags unless you're doing luggage. When you check in a bag, you're sending it into the baggage compartment downstairs, underneath on the bottom.
No. I checked
You're
bags.
talking about a carry-on luggage and then a personal item.
You have to check that, apparently.
No.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. That's what they called it. They check your bag, and then that's the carry-on.
Well,
but besides my point, when you bring a luggage onto the plane and then you stand there because you're this old fuck whose wife hates him, and you're going to your mistresses or whatever, and you're
very personal.
You're just like, you're trying to get your fucking shit out there, and I have my backpack, and it's like, I have to catch my flight. I have to catch my next flight. Move your dumb ass. Like, I feel like they should have it so that if you don't have a carry-on, you can just go. Because those are the people.
They should let people who don't have carry-ons go first.
Yeah, because those are the people who make the money moves. You're out there grinding. You need to. You're a productive member of society. That should be the check to see you're valuable.
I don't agree with you entirely, but I do think you should be able to. There should be some sort of system in place to allow people with less baggage
to go.
To leave first.
Because I stood there for 15 minutes, and I'm like, wow, my next flight is really fucking soon. Luckily, it shouldn't take that long to get to my next gate from the Dallas airport. Fucking clueless over here. And then I was stuck on trains for 20 minutes, and I had to run to my next flight home. And then all this, and then while I was doing it, I also set myself up to get a slightly nicer seat, because the default economy seats are terrible. So I got a preferred seat for 19 bucks, and it still sucked. It still was terrible. And the guy next to me was dressed up like an American flag and was just going and I was like,
do you think he was doing it on purpose?
No, I just think that they have tiny penises and they don't know how to.
They compensate with the flag. They figure 50 stars means 50 inches.
Genuinely, it was a terrible flying experience. Love San Diego though. But when I finally got home and I was waiting for my ride back to my apartment, I'm like, I had my mask on for 12 hours, and I'm just like, okay, I can take it off and get some fresh air. So I remove my mask and I just breathe in the beautiful cold Virginia night air, and this guy just walks out from the entrance and goes just right in my face. I'm like, thanks, buddy. Thanks, man.
Welcome home.
Thanks, bro. That's awesome. I love this. You're great. So hopefully you had a better trip than I did.
Well, on that we are simpatico with the flights.
I hate flying.
I had an 8-hour flight that way and a 9-hour flight back. For those of you that don't know, I went to Spain for a week. It was a much more interesting trip. I went to all kinds of places. I went to Madrid, Lugo, which is close to where my grandfather grew up, Gijón, San Sebastián, which is a coastal sort of city, and then Barcelona to round it out. And I had a wonderful time. I ate all kinds of food. Drank all kinds of things. I gained all kinds of weight.
Oh,
I gained a lot of weight on this trip. I gained 15 pounds on this trip alone. Because we just kept eating. There was one moment where in Barcelona, actually, we went to a restaurant called Botafumeiro, which is the incense lamp. It's Spanish for the incense lamp.
Incest lamp?
Incense lamp.
Cest lamp?
Whatever. And at the place, they said, before we bring you the menus, we'd like to run out some appetizers first. And they ran out every single appetizer on that fucking menu to draw up the bill.
Oh god.
But it was delicious. But that was kind of the entire trip was, hey, do you want to eat this? Hey, you should try this. hey, GC, try this. Hey, you should try this. And me and my dumb brain was like, oh yeah, I'll try this and then I'll order my own food. Except try this was a bowl this big, and then my food was a plate this big. And I cannot, when I tell you I was full and I was just eating because I thought it would be rude to not like clear the plate. I thought I was going to explode. I swear to God, at some point I thought someone could put a pin in me and I'd pop. And I knew I was right about this. There was one night where I just couldn't do it and I said no because the food was crap. The food was crap. The soup that I had was delicious, but then I ordered some kebabs and it was shit because the meat was so chewy. It was practically impossible to swallow it. I would just chew for fucking minutes. And the guy got pissed that I didn't finish my food. He got upset because he thought there was something wrong with it.
Did they frown upon
And I told him, no, there was nothing
leftovers?
wrong. I've just been eating. No, they don't.
Okay, good.
But he was upset that I hadn't finished my food, and he got really mad at me. And I was like, I just basically told him, it's like, I couldn't, like, I've been eating fucking, dude, I had like croquetas on the left, una caldo gallego on the right, you know, lentejas por la cabeza. Like, it was so much fucking food. I just couldn't do it. But the trip was great. We saw a bunch of places. It was mostly a trip to eat and drink everywhere, so mission accomplished. And then
like,
we got on a plane back.
You're just begging to gain weight from that. Like, I just
bad, man.
I was only there for 2 days and I definitely feel like I lost a lot of progress on my diet and I'm still trying to recover.
I'm telling you, I gained like 10 pounds, like legit, like just I went from 168 to 178.
Jeez.
Like I gained 10 fucking pounds. And then we got on the plane back, and the ride back was a nightmare. No shade to Spaniards, but the group of Spaniards that we had on this plane were some of the most rude rule breakers. So people would I had one fucking guy, so they had to turn on the seatbelt light for the whole flight because people kept getting up to hang out in the walkways of the plane. Like, they would get up and hang out, like this group of people that was, I think they all knew each other. They must have, right? And then this one guy kept getting up to talk to the guy that sat next to me. I had the aisle row, and then the guy on the aisle row next to mine was just chilling, and he had this guy come up to him every 15 minutes going, hey! So, like, you know, like when we land, like whatever, and it was every 15 fucking minutes he would have a conversation with this fucking guy, and his ass smelled. Oh. And guess where his ass was?
In front of you?
My face.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, I'm sitting there trying to play Persona 5 on my fucking Steam Deck like this, and he's talking to this guy, and he's like wiggling because he's whacked out of his mind.
Jiggling like smelly ass fluids, and
his butt is in my face. Like, it didn't smell like he shat himself or anything. It literally just smelled like he had like, it smelled like his ass smelled. Like I could smell his ass stink through his pants. You know how everyone's asshole smells?
Not mine.
Everyone's asshole fucking smells, and I could smell this guy's as though he had like spread his cheeks open and been wafting it into my face.
Now, are we sure he like wasn't talking to people in his little seat row? Was like, hey, watch this, and just like pulled it apart real quick and then ran over there?
And like, yeah.
That guy likes Persona 5. Ew, God. I'll show him.
Asshole. One lady apparently laid down in the middle of the walkway during the flight. Something about her back, and she was like, I can't sit for too long, so I gotta lay down. And then people started to crowd around the bathrooms. So like nobody could get into the bathrooms, and they had to tell people to sit down. And one lady, the flight attendant, told the guy, the same guy that was like fucking spreading his ass stink to me. She was like, sir, you have to sit down. And he goes, I've been sitting for too long. And it's like, then why did you get on a plane?
What do you think would happen?
What did you think was gonna happen? And then apparently the people behind me were like, this lady behind me was telling her entire life story to the people she was sitting next to the point where the guy that was sitting next to me at one point spoke up and said, hey, are you talking about so-and-so? No, you can't possibly know him. He's an asshole. He comes from this village. He goes, I'm from that village.
I'm him.
Well, this is his name, and he goes, I know him. Oh
my God.
It was the trip from hell. It was the plane ride from hell. I couldn't fall asleep. I couldn't like focus on what I was doing. It was the worst flight experience I've ever had in my entire life.
I love how like good, like if you can really tell a trip is about to be good if like the plane ride there is miserable, and then you just know it'll be bookended with another bad flight. That's real. All the best trips come with sacrifice.
I had such a good time, and that flight, honestly, the flight, like, it's the worst flight I've ever been on. It could have been worse.
Yeah.
But my God, I'll never forget just like playing Persona 5 and like I had like a sniffle, and I went, oh. Like, I'll never forget that experience. My God.
I wish.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That was the kid that coughed in my face. It was on the return flight. I had the kid cough in my face too. Anyway.
I really wish that they could just get like a train that travels the ocean. Trains are great. I like trains a lot.
They do that for France and England. There's a tunnel.
That's sick. I love trains.
You just drive through the tunnel.
I love trains. We gotta have better train infrastructure.
We should have a better train infrastructure in the United States. We're like one of the only countries that doesn't have that.
Amtrak does its best, but
Amtrak needs more routes.
Yep.
You know what? Even fuck Amtrak. Have more companies like get into the train business, create competition, etc., etc.
I have this great idea.
We have a bunch of unused railroads.
American trains.
Monorail.
American Airlines. I think you could definitely spread yourself a bit more thin.
American Airlines could go into American ground lines.
You know, I can't fault you for that one. I couldn't come up with a better name. But sounds like we had fun.
Yeah, we did. We had a lot of fun.
I met on my trip, I met frequent person of interest of this podcast, Kazuma. I forget what.
You make that sound like we talk about him all the
We
time.
do talk about him, but it's typically like, you know what Kazuma said? Kazuma's so cool.
We usually bring him up whenever we're talking about the series.
At Justice Kazi. I met Justice Kazi, and we went to lunch, and I could already tell it was off to a great start, because lunch was 2 hours long, and we just talked, and then we went to this press event, and then we both got really drunk. We got so drunk, and then I proceeded to get even more drunk. I got so drunk on my trip. I have been the most drunk I've been in my entire life.
That's impressive.
It was great. Well, I'm the driver. I typically don't get to, you know.
True.
I don't get to be the drunk guy. But now I get why they have alcohol at events, because drinking is very fun. Drink responsibly, don't drink underage.
It makes the games you're playing better.
Not even the college years?
That's just a tactic.
I was
you
a
wine
nerd.
and dine them, and once they're wined up, they'll remember the experience more fondly. It's a tactic. It's an attempt.
I would never imply that is part of the... I would never. Didn't you also meet Xbox himself? Yes, I did. I met our local Xbox. James Galizio. He rode up and we had lunch on my last day, and then I got on my shuttle and I went home. But Justice Kazi, great fucking dude. Literally one of those, like, he introduced me to a lot of cool press people who I proceeded to spend the rest of the night, even after Cosmo went back to where he lived, just drinking at the bar, like the hotel bar. It was insane. I love alcohol in a very healthy way. I love social drinking. It's so fun.
Social drinking is a good time.
But I guess let's get. What are you playing?
Well, you know, while we're on the topic of Kazuma, Why not talk about the series that I identify him most with, just out of happenstance? I've been playing a lot of Judgment.
I haven't been able to catch your streams.
Playing a lot of Judgment. Well, they're on YouTube now, or at least for the rest of this week they will be.
Nice.
We might even do it for next week because it's been doing pretty good. Actually.
Has it been doing better than Twitch, you think?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
How much better?
All of my regulars from Twitch showed up to YouTube, so that's good already.
All right.
And then people that follow me on YouTube are watching me on YouTube.
Fair enough.
They're just there.
I'm too afraid to actually start YouTube streaming.
Are you afraid you're gonna lose subscriber?
Yeah.
I mean, fair. I
don't want to annoy people.
I've lost a good amount. So that's probably why we're gonna stop. I might bounce back and forth just to like pull people in.
It just seems that
like this.
YouTube's not the like the place for it.
I like it.
No,
I actually really like it. I just wish it didn't bring with that caveat of people might unsubscribe from you if they see you streaming.
Yeah, and that's why I say it's not really built for it. Just like socially, like culturally, the audience YouTube gets, and like the people who want to see you stream are like it basically like they're filtered out more or less of like the people who don't care. They're never gonna like follow you to your other platforms where you do shows like this. They're just not interested. So like it doesn't affect them at all. Like for us people, it's like, you know, like they come to us. A lot of people just see the video, they watch the video, they leave. And then if we start blowing up their sub boxes with streams, they'll just get annoyed, and because they're like, I don't come here for this. Like some people are just like, cool, a stream on YouTube, that's convenient. But a lot of people aren't like that. I
don't know why more people aren't just like, that's cool, I'm not gonna watch it. We'll wait for the video. I don't understand what I don't know. It's weird.
That's how people are.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Judgment. Wow. That game doesn't know what it wants to be.
Welcome to the Judgment sub-series.
Judgment is weird because it feels like Toshihiro Nagoshi wanted to do something different and then decided he didn't want to do anything different. And then he still did things different, and then he still didn't do things different, and then he wanted to sort of like deal with certain complaints that the series has had in recent time around the time Judgment was made, but then also he wanted to put his foot down and double down on other parts that he might maybe not should have. I like the combat though. That's the best the Dragon Engine's ever been with combat. I like how technical it is.
They really are just like, the Dragon Engine was really just piecemealed together slowly, and they just kept tweaking it little by little.
It's good.
Both Judgment games in a lot of ways are, to the point they were released, probably some of the best of that franchise, but they also have some of the lowest lows, and it's very weird.
So far, I'm not there yet. I'm not there to say it's like the lowest of the lows, but I am saying, like, I am at a point right now where I'm like having a good time. One of the slowest openings to a Yakuza game ever. Chapter 1 is like a slog. Chapter 1 takes forever to open up, and you are railroaded for a really long time. And as someone who's coming from these games where by chapter 2 you can already kind of just go do whatever you want, and you can do that in about an hour and a half, 2.5 hours, playing Judgment was like at first it really felt like someone was pulling my teeth.
Well, see, what I do like about that in a way is that what's cool about Judgment is that Judgment 1 is still trying to be a detective game.
Yes.
And Lost Judgment is a Yakuza game. Like, Judgment is still I would call Judgment a detective game with Yakuza fighting like gameplay elements, where Lost Judgment doesn't really try to be a detective game.
So what I've been doing lately is comparing it to an immersive sim.
That's interesting. Hey, Japan.
So I took these notes today, but what I basically said is I really like these detective aspects. I really like these like little mechanics, like tailing someone, taking the picture, investigating the crime scenes. I actually really like those. They're very slow, but I like that they're slow. They're supposed to be slow. Yes. You're a detective. You're supposed to be, scanning the environment, and you're supposed to be taking your time with these things. And the game is very much set up to take your time with these things. When the game is too slow, it's when they don't have that. When you're just sitting there and you're like listening to very like normal conversation about a case, and someone's just like, so apparently the perp, he left here like at 5, and it feels like I'm doing my taxes. Because it's not that that's not interesting. It's that by chapter 3, which is where I'm at, they've given me a crime scene report 20 times, and I'm so tired of hearing the culprit left at 5 p.m. at this time and he had this thing here. I'm tired of that. When the game shines, it's when it's like, okay, now it's your turn to ask questions. Ask the right ones.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's your turn to investigate the crime scene. Make sure you find the cat.
That just reminded me that I think one of the things that Lost Judgment does is they take a lot of those like mechanics, those like detective mechanics, and they put them mostly into the side content. And if you're like me, who doesn't do a lot of that, you're not going to see a lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
But also just like, I'm not against like the sequel being different or doing mystery solving in a different way. It just, I kind of wish that Lost Judgment had more of that.
Does it also do away with lock picking and thumb turning?
I think they delegate all of that to side content. Okay,
so like that's unfortunate, because those are the immersive sim aspects I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So earlier today, I was on my stream, I said, what this game has secondary and tertiary immersive sim elements. It has the interaction between you and the cutscene. It has the interaction of like, I'm going to go solve the detective thing. I compared it to Deus Ex, where you have all of those things in Deus Ex, where you're investigating crime scenes and you're trying to identify this and you're trying to do this and you're trying to look at a situation or talk to people, and you want to ask the right questions, and I got to do a lock picking thing here, I got to go into disguise here. And those are all the secondary and tertiary elements of an immersive sim like Deus Ex, right?
Yeah.
What it lacks is the primary core. What it lacks is the actual agency to solve the crime or do something in a different way.
Oh yeah.
Because ultimately you have all these little things that remind you of immersive sims.
A Yakuza immersive sim would be so cool.
Yeah.
A Yakuza game that wasn't afraid to let you like do things and not the way they expect.
And this is almost that. This is almost that. Like, imagine if there was an actual stealth element to Yagami being a private eye, where it's like, instead of fighting this fucking guy, I'm gonna find a way to avoid ever even confronting him.
Unfortunately, that is way too ambitious for the Yakuza devs.
And that's sort of like what I'm saying, where I'm at, where it's like, this has all the makings of an immersive sim without going for it.
Because
instead it's like, well, now you get to the part where you have to fight the guys. Well, now you get to the part where you have to run away. Well, now you get to the part where you have to sneak by. Instead of like, that one part at the beginning where you have to break into that building and you pretend to be the mechanic.
That's fun. I like that bit.
It's really fun, but imagine if there were other ways to do that segment. Like, what if I just barge in and I have Kaito like just create a diversion?
Yeah.
What if I use the drone to sneak in and find the guy? Or what if I lockpick and on thumbtack screw my way through the outside of the building instead?
I feel like the Judgment series was pitched as this different, like a whole other genre, and it's really just Yakuza again. And as soon you really have to accept, like, if you want to enjoy those games, you have to accept that they're
not going to be that.
No.
They're not going to be the thing that they're built up to.
They're just another Yakuza game.
Yeah. And that's why I count it. That's why I'm counting it, because it's so obvious that it is just another Yakuza game. And that's a little disappointing. It's not a deal breaker, but I see it. I see that it's so close to being an immersive sim game set in Kamurocho. It has all the makings of it. It literally has all the components of an immersive sim minus a primary core gameplay like design like concept of it being one.
Until
like
you
it just borrows from that genre without being that.
Until you brought this up, I had actually like completely forgot, because like, yeah, when I played Lost Judgment, I just did it as, oh, the next Yakuza game, and so it didn't even like click in place that it's just like, oh no, this is even less like a fun detective mystery than the first game. And it's like,
And like, it's not that it's not a fun detective game. Like, I think it's really good when it does those things. I actually think it's really good. Like, I look at those things and I go, it's so, yeah, and it's so weird that we didn't, like, you could backport those mechanics into the Yakuza series and they would work really well. Like this whole like imagine playing as Akiyama during the beginning of part 4 and you get to ask the right questions and you get to like do, like, that would be so much more interactive than just seeing a very long cutscene where they chew the scenery, which is fine. That's great.
You just have to know what you're getting into and not expect
like,
what it promises.
It's just I would really like it. I really like it for all of those things. It just, I see a different game there.
Yeah.
I see where this should have been something different or could have been something different, and they backed down hard. Like they backed down on making it that kind of game. And I don't know whether Sega just didn't let them.
It was probably time. There's no way you can make one of those from scratch in a year.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Like,
yeah.
You just can't.
Maybe you know what? Thinking about it, maybe the reason Nagoshi left Sega is because he wants to make games like that and he can't.
We're gonna have to wait to see how legally distinct Yakuza is.
I can't wait for it to be the same fucking thing.
It's gonna be the same game. It's gonna be this, and then we're gonna find out, hey, who was it on this team that really doesn't like Chinese and Korean people? Who was it? Nagoshi? Are those gonna carry over?
Or was it all of them?
Yeah.
Or was it all of them?
Who held the smoking gun, or did they all have guns? But I mean, you're having fun at least.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Minus certain elements, which is weird because there are other elements that kind of like spit in the face of those bad elements. It's really weird. It's like a turning point for the series that also wants to assert
it's
certain
not confident.
Other things.
It's like the Yakuza series. I feel like every entry tries to show promise and then backs down a little bit.
Yeah.
And it comes off really like it's contradicting itself, and it's just not. It just doesn't. It comes off a little insecure.
Yeah. Yeah. No. For sure. It doesn't know if it can do that or if it wants to do that, or it doesn't know how to just like commit to being what it wants to be.
It's like I called Lost Judgment this, and I think kind of more or less kind of covers a lot of the other Yakuza games as well. They're very centrist video games. They talk like big messages, and they don't actually follow through a lot of them.
No. They're kind of like they lack teeth.
Yeah.
They lack a little bit of teeth.
You can't have that bite if like you're constantly
if half
making
your game is propaganda, yeah.
Yeah, that, and also like weird microaggressions. And it's like you see one or two and you're like, that's a bit weird. And then you see so many and you're like, okay, so what's the deal?
Yeah, then you start going, okay, hang on a second.
Yeah.
This is a lot.
It's like it's contradicting yourself a little bit. But let's not get into, we've already gotten into that on several episodes. But if you're a hardcore Judgment super fan, don't worry. The games are as good as you want them to be. Don't worry. You're okay. You're safe. Never have to think. I'm kidding. But what else are you playing?
I'm also been playing quite a few things. Picked up Satisfactory again. Just gonna go through the quick ones. Picked up Satisfactory again. Update 7's great. Making blueprints is great. The new overclocking, underclocking stuff is great. I skipped update 6, so if that's like contradictory, or so if I'm talking about update 6 stuff, that's how you know. Probably play some more of that tonight. I picked up Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, and then I modded it with Platinum version changes.
Interesting.
This was pretty interesting. Yeah. So What it is a mod that for one makes Pokemon at true scale, so they're properly sized for what their heights are. That's one. Two, it adds in the platinum route mixtures. So instead of like, oh, these are the Pokemon that you encounter on this route in Diamond and Pearl, it goes, no, these are the ones you encounter in Platinum. So it alters like which Pokemon show up where, and it also like alters it so that you don't need to trade between games to get all of them. Then what it also does is it makes trade evolutions evolve at level 40.
Does it add in any of the story content of Platinum?
So that's what they're working on.
Okay, that's interesting.
So they've already added custom events. And there are mods that have added custom events into Brilliant Diamond and Pearl because they discovered that the code is very much relatively the same. So they are now able to just mod it as though they were modding Diamond and Pearl with some, differences here and there. So they're learning how to inject content, and the plan is to add the platinum content in. At this point, they've already replaced the intro cutscene. Like the opening cutscene for the game, they've already replaced that. They've already replaced like text boxes and what certain people say. They've replaced where certain characters are. So the game is already like shaping up to be like that. So very excited for that. Would love to play more of it, see where it goes. It also runs at 60 FPS because that game can just run at 60 FPS.
Did it do that on Switch?
No.
Speaking of bad frame rate in Pokemon.
Yeah. I've been playing the new Chaos Gate. We'll get to that. I've been playing the new Warhammer 40k Chaos Gate XCOM game. I pick it up every once in a while. I do a mission and then I put it back down.
Okay.
It's XCOM. Unfortunately, it's Warhammer 40k and it's one of the most boring settings you could ever fucking think of because it's just, do you like bureaucracy? Do you think bureaucracy is really fun and interesting? Wow, you'll like Warhammer 40k. Do you think bureaucracy's fucking boring as fuck?
I do.
I do. God damn it. For Warhammer is such a boring fucking series. Anyway.
The Warhammer fans in my audience, all one of them are probably going to come for you on that one.
I don't care. 40k is so fucking boring.
Never touched anything in that series.
You can touch some things in that series. Like Vermintide's pretty fun.
I already told you I'm a germaphobe.
Whatever.
I'm a vermaphobe.
Dragon Quest Treasures is a lot of fun. It's a very good pick up and go game.
Guess how much I've played since our stream?
None.
0. Yeah, I haven't played anymore.
Yeah, because you've been playing Crisis Core.
I have been playing Crisis Core. Have you been playing Crisis Core?
No, I don't have it.
God damn it.
I can't afford it right now.
That's bummer.
Broke. Yeah, I know. It's okay. It's okay.
Well, talk about Dragon Quest.
I'll have money later. Dragon Quest Treasures is good. It's really fun. The main story develops as you do the side content stuff. So you raise your gang's rank to essentially unlock more like story developments and little bits like that, and you continue to unlock more and more content as you do that. And then all the while you're supposed to be looking for these specific treasures, and as long as you don't find those treasures, the main quest doesn't advance, but things unlock for you. So there's like different progression tracks, different progression routes. You don't have to do everything. You can do everything. You can only focus on some things. It's very free form. It's a very free form game. It's a lot of fun. The action combat is very simplified. It's not Dragon Quest monsters, but it has enough of those things to be very enjoyable. I really hope at some point in the future we get a sequel that sort of expounds on those ideas and mechanics.
Because I'm also thinking it's what I played, like it's a lot of good ideas and they're not all executed the best, but it's a good foundation and I want to see more of it.
I would love to see the Dragon Quest Builders 2 version of this.
Dragon
Quest Builders 1 to 2.
Yep.
Treasures 1 to 2. I would love to see the Treasures 2 of this. I love the Treasures 1 of this. This is really good. Like, it's not a Builders 1 situation where it's a little rudimentary. Treasures is a good fucking game. Can't wait for it to come out on PC.
Yeah. That was another thing where
deserves to look better.
I'm playing and I'm like, this is fine. But it's just like, oh, the Switch. And we don't need to have our Switch discussion.
We have it every time.
We have it every time. And I'm gonna probably have it in a moment anyway.
Been playing Persona 5 Royal. It's really good.
That Switch port is actually very good though.
Yeah.
That game is a miracle on Switch.
That game shouldn't be as good as it is, and it is, and I'm probably going to New Game Plus it.
You should.
Right away after beating it.
That game is outstanding.
It is incredible. I am in September, and I am still unlocking new
mechanics.
things.
Yeah, I
am losing my mind.
People
with that.
like it is so hard to convey to someone who was already cynical about like, oh, this didn't need to be like a full price thing, and it's like under almost any other instance, you're right, and then you say this is different, and they don't believe you until they play it.
I still don't think it should have been 50.
Well, it was 60.
60. It was 60.
It was a full price game.
I still don't think it should have been 60. Because it was already out on PS4 for a long time.
To be fair, you haven't reached the new content yet, which is
that's fine.
Sizable.
But it was already out for a while. I still don't think it should have been up for 60. But that being said, 40, 50, I'd believe it. I'd believe it. With all the DLC content too, I believe it.
Oh yeah, and like they've dropped the price already so fast, so.
Exactly. I mean, that's Sega for you.
I mean, just pay for what you think it's worth. That's really what it boils down to. But still, it's like the game is it has no right being that.
It's phenomenal.
It's
one of the best JRPGs ever.
They took a game with already a fantastic core, and they just made it better, in like every single way. It's insane.
Yeah.
So good.
I'm in love with it. That's basically the majority of what I've been playing, straight up. And the reason it's the majority of what I've been playing is because the other game that I was going to be playing as a majority thing, I've decided not to play until the Switch patches make it run better. And I'm talking about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
We both got this on launch. Funny enough, I convinced you to go pick it up at midnight. And that do you want to tell the story?
So, let's talk about the story of how I got Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. So Cullen
started with a big bang.
So Cullen says, "Hey, I might stream Pokemon Scarlet or I just want to play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet with friends, and I don't want to get left behind on my purchase. I don't want to get left behind since it's a multiplayer game."
To be fair, I have had very bad history with that.
And you've had very bad experience. And Cullen said, "I'm going to go buy it. At midnight, I'm going to get it digitally." And I said, I could go, my GameStop's having a midnight release. I was going to get it physically. I can go do a pre-order and then get it on midnight. And Cullen said, "That would be cool." And then I said, "Okay, maybe I'll just wait until in the morning or whatever." And Cullen said, "No, GC, no, you should go get it tonight so that we can play together tonight. You should do this. You should do this right now. Go do it right now." And I said, "Cullen, I can go right now. Are you sure you?" Yes, please go get it right now. So I go pre-order my fucking copy of Pokemon Violet, okay, Pokemon Daddy Edition. And Cullen, when did this fucking game come out?
Okay, so for extra context, I get a lot of my games on the Japanese eShop because I am both impatient and the yen has crashed so hard it makes it cheaper. So I got this game for like $45, give or take, and it unlocked about 12 p.m. the day before. So I didn't have time to actually play it until about 5-ish p.m. I assume you'd already pre-ordered it at this point.
No, I just bought it at 6 p.m.
Okay. So and then I started playing.
Hang on. Okay. I have the DMs right here.
Oh, good. All right.
I just bought Violet. Okay, and you wrote something to say I'm gonna have a lot of time to play it because I just got asked to stop. Blah 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 blah.
Oh.
Okay.
I was told. I'm fine saying that. I was told by my management to stop doing overtime.
So I have plenty of time, GC, and then I said, "All right, I just bought it. that was at 5:42 is when you told me that. And I said, I just bought Violet. You're coming with me to the midnight release. As in, I'm going to call you on Discord and you're going to hang out with me for the midnight release. Hey, did you want to stream this? I don't care either way. And Cullen writes, do you want to stream it tonight or tomorrow? Which is such an obvious, like, I don't know if I want to play it tonight. Hee. To which I respond in all caps, you told me to get it tonight. And then you wrote, ain't I a stinker?
It gets worse.
Then Cullen says, but yeah, we could stream it at midnight if you think you won't be tired. Are they launching it at 6? And I said, no, they're launching it at midnight.
Because GC acted like he was in the line to like buy the game. So I was so confused. I was like, what do you mean? Why is it a big deal? You just go back at midnight and get the game.
But
it does get worse. I will admit it does get worse.
It does get worse. It does get worse because 10 minutes later, 10 minutes later, okay? Sorry, not 10 minutes later. An hour and a half later, okay. I send Cullen a message and I go, so what's your verdict? As in, do you want to play it tonight or tomorrow? Because it's 3.5 hours to the midnight release at this point, and I want to know, am I getting in the car now or am I getting in the car tomorrow morning?
I thought that meant, because I thought you had somehow known I was already playing it and was asking me what I thought about the game.
So then Cullen writes, this game sucks. And I respond with, you mean Pokemon? And Cullen goes, yeah. And then I wrote, and I quote, did you tell me to go get Pokemon after all that hubbub about not wanting to be left behind by peeps just to play it ahead of me and to end up not liking it?
Did I respond?
You wrote, I think you'll probably like it. I'm just bored. And then 5-6 hours later at 2 a.m. you wrote, okay, I guess I like Pokemon. And then 2 hours later you wrote, never mind. So you had played like 6 hours of this fucking game.
Actually, no, I had not. Let me show my side of the story.
Okay.
I had people over that night to watch American Horror Story. So one of them came over early and I was like, let's look at Pokemon on my TV. And knowing Pokemon intros are fucking long and boring and I need to get to the part where we could have fun. So I just started trying to get through the early bits and then I would stop when it opens up so we could actually play from there, which I did. And I was just playing it and I was baffled at how this released. Granted, I found out later, if you don't install it to your system memory, the game is a nightmare. It's so much worse.
He gave me homework.
What was the homework?
After all of this, he gave me homework, and he told me your homework tonight is to get to the open world. So he gave me homework at midnight so that we could play tomorrow.
I was very CP.
You dick!
I was so CP. You have no idea.
Anyway, so yeah, like the game, then we demoed it together on stream. We actually did end up streaming it, which some people were here for.
See? I'm a good guy.
And we were both kind of underwhelmed.
Yeah.
And what sucks is that we were underwhelmed not because of the game itself, because apparently, and I can confirm this, that's a pretty good Pokemon game.
It takes a while for you to like get it. But I can see why now everyone was like, yeah, this is one of the best Pokemon games ever made.
That's one of the best Pokemon games they've ever made.
Yeah.
Asterisk.
But
not counting performance issues.
But I think like we're so late to this and it's so beaten like down. Like this point is just so like talked about that there's nothing we can really add. Like, yeah, that's kind of embarrassing that they released it in this state. But it's incredible how good it is anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it has no right being so good.
it is great that we can truly and wholly isolate the issues with a Pokemon game down to the production.
Because
not
before,
the design, not the
with like
the,
X
the,
and
the
Y
budget or whatever.
and Sun and Moon, it's like the whole pie was tainted.
Yeah, like X and Y, Sun and Moon was kind of like, and Sword and Shield was pretty good, but still kind of like, we weren't sure, like, was it the time thing, was it not? This game's core design philosophies, like the branching paths, amazing. It's kind of bullshit that you still got to get badges to control your Pokemon.
My biggest issue with the game is that the promise of it's the open world, like, do whatever you want Pokemon game is full of shit, because you still have Pokemon not listen to you if you don't have the right badges.
So you still have to get badges at a certain point in time. So it's not actually do whatever you want.
Yeah, so like for example, me and my friend Bridget, we were both approaching the game from the mindset of we wanted to do the legendary path first, because that's what interested us and we wanted to do that first. And then we realized that you can't play the game the way the game basically lies to you about, it's like, yeah, you can do whatever you want. It's like, you can't. What you really need to do is go to a new area, do all 3 of the things at once, go on to the next, all 3 at once, and you need to follow it like that. And it's a bit of a bummer, but it's still despite that, it's incredible.
It's such a, sorry, I'm not getting emotional, I'm yawning.
Oh good.
It's such a difficult, it's such a sucky thing to say, that it's like, you know, this is not going to get better without like some extensive patching, and we don't know if we're going to get that.
Apparently they've said that they're going to.
They released one patch already, I know that.
I'm probably gonna wait, not because I think it does need it, but I'm also like, at this point, like, how much have you played?
Not very far past after we were playing. I played a couple more times. And
okay.
I made a little bit of progress. I caught up to where you were at.
I have finished 2 of the routes.
Okay, yeah, you played a lot. I have not.
This game grabbed me. Like, for me to put like 30 hours into a Pokemon game, that doesn't sound a lot to like some people.
Cullen hates Pokemon.
I'm not huge into it. Love Arceus.
Pokemon.
I love Arceus.
Cullen won't play Brilliant Diamond and Pearl because it has 8-way movement.
I don't like that. It feel bad. The game feel bad to move. The game feel bad. I don't know what's so crazy to understand about this. It don't feel good. It don't feel good.
You know that mod actually gives a true analog.
I want the mod.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
If you could mod it in, why didn't they just fucking do it? Well, I know the answer, and it's that they didn't, like, they made the remake too faithful, and they realized that having the ability to move wherever you want breaks it. And guess what? It already does with 8-way movement.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, but...
So I have a solution for the Pokemon problem, and it's really easy, and we've talked about this before. You take that company that made the Brilliant Diamond Pearl games. You take a separate chunk of people who work on the Legends games, and you take the other chunk of people who work on the mainline Pokemon games. Those people change with every project. I know that. I'm
3-year
just saying
dev cycles.
3-year dev cycles.
Mm-hmm.
3-year dev cycle. Do that.
Unfortunately, they're not going to. And they are now like, I hate when a game like this sells well, because it's just like a proof to the companies funding it to be like, yeah, we can just keep doing this.
Yes and no. I feel like the public apology is sort of an awareness that they have. But
it was barely an apology.
I know.
Like,
but that's why I really stress it to everybody who loves Pokemon. For the next Pokemon game, wait for the reviews to come out, and if it performs like shit, don't buy it. Please. Go replay an old Pokemon instead.
Go replay Legends Arceus.
Go replay Legends Arceus.
I need Legends to be a series. I cannot...
Wait for the Sigma Platinum mod. Go play that.
But I will say, this is the most I've enjoyed Pokemon in years.
Yeah. I'm happy for you, because, like, yeah, man. It's so obviously like a really good Pokemon game.
And I'm excited to finish it.
Minus a couple things that probably would have been ironed out with more time.
Oh yeah,
like
a lot
it's
of
pretty
this.
obvious. Like the badge thing, they probably would have been like, "Hey, let's not do that."
Like you can tell this was being developed alongside Legends Arceus, and they weren't able to kind of correct. Like that game got feedback, and that game did some things right, and they weren't able to bring that back to.
Yeah.
Like I will say, out of the two games, I think Legends Arceus is a better game. But for a mainline Pokemon game, this is the best I think it's ever been.
The Pokemon solution is you give it to Bandai.
No. Mm-mm. No. No.
You give one of them to Bandai.
Sure. Sure.
You give one of them to Bandai. You do it for a small amount of time so you can get your 3-year dev cycle up to par. How about that? How about you annualize with Bandai until your other studios are done working on whatever it is they're working on. And then once you've got the 3-year dev cycle like operating, you can.
Yeah. Oh, did you freeze? Did I freeze?
Do that.
Oh.
Am I? Yeah.
You're...
No, my power went out. Am
wow.
I still here?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
That's scary.
Cool. Yeah.
But you're kind of jumping around. You're kind of. Oh. I think you're back to normal. Yep. You're running at a good frame rate. Nope. Oh.
That's just because I'm not talking.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. Cool. So Pokemon.
Yeah.
You're on the right track.
You're
very close to the track.
You're not on the track at all.
But no, like design wise.
Oh sure, yeah.
Because the last couple just sucked as games altogether, but now
I feel
it's like
this is a true modernization.
You're coming back to the track, but
yeah,
you're not wearing shoes. You gotta wear shoes if you're gonna run. Terrible metaphor. But anything else you've been playing?
No, I think that's pretty much it, actually. How about you, Cullen? What have you been playing?
Crisis Core is pretty good.
Crisis Core is pretty good. Tell me about Crisis Core.
I don't have a lot to say. Its Reunion is one of the better remasters I think ever made. Because it understands that it's like, there's a certain level of jank you need to keep, but we can just make it actually fun to engage with. So they just cut the tedium and bullshit out of the PSP game and then kept everything else. I like it.
Good.
Good game. Runs well on Switch. That's the biggest surprise. That Unreal Engine. You know what? I could have used that to transition into news, but just put a pin on Final Fantasy and Epic Games.
Yeah, put a little. Yeah.
So many pins. Besides that, I've been actually getting a lot more into Harvestella. Have you been playing more Harvestella? Or have you not had time?
I almost like I keep going like hovering over it with my mouse, and then I click away from it instead.
I do that a lot when I'm on my Switch home menu, and then I play it, and then like 4 hours are gone.
Yeah, that's how I feel like that game's gonna get me.
It's just you're like, oh, I'm not in the Harvestella mood, and you have to force yourself to play it, and then you can't put it down, and it's all you think about for days. I think that Harvestella is one of the best like original IP Square Enix has made in years. Like like I'm just playing it, and there's so much fucking love put into every single line of dialogue, the music, the whole thing. I mean, you play it enough, you're like, you see it.
Yeah,
like
you could tell from the demo.
I love the side quest writing in that game. Like,
I'm excited to get to that then.
Have you not
play some tonight?
You haven't done any side quests?
I have not done a whole lot in Harvestella. I don't think I've even caught up to the demo.
Wow.
Yeah, like I've been meaning to. I'm so caught up in Persona 5 and work.
Fair.
And like I'm just, you know.
One of the things I love about Harvestella is that the side quest writing, like there's obviously like a main quest and a side quest. They're split up.
Right.
But for the characters involved with both of them, they share equal importance. Like you're helping people out with like relationship issues, like romance, just very human problems with a lot of these like NPCs that, you know, are spread out around all the different towns you visit, and it feels like such a human story. Like when I was playing Rune Factory, I couldn't give less of a shit about every single person in the town.
No.
Did not care. Whereas
there's
like
an emotional there is an attempt to humanize a lot of characters in Harvestella where it's very like it's very there's a word for it.
I think it
like
excels in making people feel real.
Yeah, it's good character writing, good dialogue.
Like it's just Harvest.
There's an air of mystery to all the characters at the beginning too. So like you get invested just because they purposely sort of like mystify them a little bit, and that makes you want to get to know them.
Yeah.
So like there is something to say about not giving your players all the information about these characters and not troping them, because a lot of times they fall into tropes, especially in like games like Rune Factory.
Yeah, where I feel like the Rune Factory's cast, as charming as they can be, are just a bunch of different tropes, like personified tropes.
Yeah, and with Harvestella, it's like the guy who's a little xenophobic is not a trope. Like the guy who is afraid of like other creatures is not a trope. The doctor lady.
Oh, I love her. She's great.
Like, yeah, who has like personal like goals and motivations, and you can tell she, like, even from where I've played, you can tell she has like a personal motivation to help people and goals, but you don't know what those are, but you want to know more about her, so you want to see more of her.
And uncovering what that is interesting.
Yeah.
And it's like, because I've gotten to see like, why is she like this? And it's like, that makes sense.
Great. And it's like there's something to say about not making your characters so obvious at the start. And it's like it's I think Harvestella has been doing that pretty well so far from what I've played, where it's like there's intrigue and they're interesting people that you want to know more about, as opposed to like a one-dimensional character where you look at it and you snap your fingers and you go, oh, they're the comedy person.
In chat, Rune Factory 4 Special has infinitely more charm and personality than 5. You should try it. I'm gonna revisit Rune Factory. Like I know a lot of people like saw my video and were just like, oh yeah, no, you're right, this one sucks, dude, you're so right for that. And I'm like, look, it has I get the premise. I'm not gonna sit here and defend all of Rune Factory 5. I see it though. Like I look at Rune Factory 5 and I see what it wants to do and what it does well. It just, there's a lot of shit in there that kind of just does not vibe with me. But I play Harvestella, and I was right in saying this is probably the one that's going to get me into the farm life genre, because it is an RPG with farm life elements, and it uses its framework to tell, like, just for storytelling, and it nails just about everything it tries to do. I definitely think it could have used a bit more money. The combat's a bit stiff, and I haven't really seen it get better. But there's just something about this game, dude. Like,
yeah,
it's got that dog in it.
It's got that dog.
It's got that dog in it. And I love it. I love it to death. It is so good.
It's full of personality. It's full of original ideas. It's full of inspired ideas.
The protagonist has feels like a character. The protagonist of Harvestella, despite being
a good silent protagonist,
it is a good silent protagonist that has more personality than the Rune Factory 5 guy who had a voice. The dialogue choices in this game are so funny. Ein is fucking hilarious. He is so good. And I love, like, one of the coolest things about Harvestella is, like, you sometimes forget that there's this interesting, like, technological sci-fi edge just, like, in the distance. And it just comes back every once in a while and you're like, oh shit, I forgot this game has some weird stuff going on in the background of its world. And there's something so charming about like all these villages where people are like coming together and bonding over the fact that their world is kind of fucked up and weird and every couple months dies.
Do you want to play through Harvestella, you and I, not at the same time, but like do our own playthroughs and then collab on a video on it?
That'd be fun.
That might be fun.
You'd have to,
like, if there's stuff to say.
You'd have to provide all the video footage because I'm not recording a single second. So. Yeah, and I'm on Switch, and it is fine up until you fight a boss. But I dig Harvestella. The other game I kind of want to talk a lot about is Inscription, which I'm sure VZ's gonna perk up about that. So, you know, I think they pretty much I don't know if they announced Inscription for Switch. In my perception, it just popped into existence. It shadow dropped on Switch, and I was like, okay. I knew nothing about Inscription. I know our lovely friend VZ for our YouTube audience, he's currently in chat, but VZ made a very good video on Inscription that I've only watched bits and pieces of up until the points where I'm like, all right, I've played up to this point and I'm done. And I go back to the game. Inscription is a really hard game to talk about. It is one of those games you should go in knowing as little as possible and just, you should know it is a card game roguelike.
I'm looking at the Steam page for it right now.
Dude, you would love Inscription. If you have ever enjoyed playing card games, you would love Inscription. If you are like me and fucking despise card games in your video games, you might actually still like this game. Like,
I went into the holiday sale to see if it goes on sale.
It probably will.
I feel like it.
Like, it is. I'm playing it right now. Okay, so for context, I write for one of the sites I write for, Nintendo Insider. Like, I'm buddy with the like owner of the site. I write for him a lot, so I just was like talking about, it's like, oh, and like in a Discord we're both in, I was like, oh, Inscription, I didn't know this was out on Switch, that's pretty cool. And he just messaged me like, hey, they sent me that, you want to do that for me? No rush. And I'm like, sure. So, you know, right. I download that, and I'm like, I can't get to it right away because I'm like very busy with some other stuff. Is it okay if I just get to it when I get to it? It's like, I don't mind, just do whatever. I'm like, cool. So I downloaded it and I put it to the side, and eventually it was, I think it was Friday night last week, where I'm just sitting in bed and I'm like, fuck, I'm bored. I should be going to bed right now, but I'm just bored. So I go through my Switch and I'm like, you know what? I've been putting that Inscription game on. Let me just boot it up. And I booted up at around 2 in the morning. When I come back into consciousness, it's 8 in the morning. And I'm just so like, where did the time go? Because what I think this game does so well is that combining the card game stuff with the roguelike elements makes it very entertaining for someone like me who is very bad at deck building, who doesn't like doing that because I get really stressed. But there's something so engaging about like the way the game is set up, where you just do a run and you're probably going to lose. Like, it is a very dark game. It's very creepy and scary. But so I'm gonna talk as little about it as possible, not get into any of like the big crazy shit that goes on in that game. But you are essentially trapped in a cabin with a man who is essentially a dungeon master, and he is making you run DM sessions where the main interface with the D&D campaign is a card game. So he has a randomly generated series of maps with the same endpoint for each of the stages. And you are like just doing all these different random events, and the card game, the rules are always the same in the card game, but you can get up from the table at almost any point and walk around the cabin. So between sessions, you can explore in kind of like an escape room kind of element where you're solving puzzles, and the puzzles you solve can have permanent effects on the card game. So you're slowly giving yourself little buffs, so every run you're a bit more prepared.
Okay.
And
I like that.
It is I started really getting into it. And so you can but every time you have 2 candles. And those are basically your like, that's how many like losses you can take. Is if you lose in a card game, you lose a candle. You lose twice, you're dead. You're just dead. But what happens is that you get a photo taken of yourself, and your player is turned into a card that is added in on like the selection of new cards you can get in a run.
Okay.
And your card is based off of other cards you have. So let's say you had a couple really good cards in your deck before you died. So what you kind of like start to do is you try to get as far as you can so that your card can end up being a really good card. So when you add that back into your deck, you can get farther. Like I would always try to do is get as like whenever I got as far as possible, make my card a low cost card with high damage and a really good sigil. And now sigils are, it's so fucking crazy that
it's card mechanics.
It's me geeking out about card mechanics.
Yeah.
Whenever
you would totally love card games.
Oh no, I hate them.
Oh sure.
Like remember last year when we'd start this and you would talk about Magic and I'd just go like,
yeah.
Because I don't, that doesn't make sense to me. But this does. So this is the closest I've ever gotten. Dude, I was telling VZ this. I was like, man, this is making me want to build a deck for something. I want to go buy cards and learn how to play cards.
You want to learn how to play Magic? I can teach you.
Not at all. Not in the slightest. Because I know all my friends are already into Magic. You're into it. K-Bash is into it. I'm sure VZ's into it too. You're not going to get me. You're not getting me.
Oh, VZ's hella into it.
Yep. Nope.
We almost played a couple times. I just never like was able to get a good angle on my camera for Spell Table.
See, everyone's telling me, look, Cullen, you like Magic. I'm not doing it. I'm not falling for it. I'm not doing it.
I've been playing Magic since I was 11.
But so you get these sigils, and the sigils are like cool little different effects that your cards can have. Yeah. So like one of my favorite strats would be like, there's this sigil that's like a mantis, and mantis cards are like typically very weak, but a mantis card will attack forward, left, and right. Well, you can take that sigil, you can sacrifice your weak mantis card and slap it onto something with higher attack, and you've got a busted as fuck card. So I was like, learning the game and then trying to constantly getting better and better and better on each run. It's the best that it's the most I've enjoyed of a roguelike ever in my entire life. Because I'm not into roguelites. They're not for me. But this one was.
Okay.
It's so funny because you hear card game roguelite and my brain goes, that sounds lame. I'm not playing that.
See, I love that shit. I love Slay the Spire and all that stuff.
Oh, exactly. But it's like, I'm saying this for other people who saw this and was like, that's lame. I don't give a shit. But secretly, this is really gas. And I'm loving it. I
gotta try it out. I'll wait for the sale and then I'll grab it on the sale.
I know, and that's a great point. The aesthetic is very good. It is very creepy and fucked up looking, and it's it.
That's the only thing that's putting me off to playing it.
That's really funny. Is because the aesthetic is what got me in the door. Me. It is creepy.
It spooks me, and you know me, I can't do spooky.
Oh yeah, you should stream it. You should stream it. No, you would. I think people would like to see you stream this game, to hear a thought process as you play it. That'd be sick.
Fine,
dude,
I'll stream it.
No, and that's a great point. It looks scary. It's not really a horror game. It's a bit spooky.
Is it spooky scary?
I would not call it a horror game.
Is it gory at all?
No, I don't. Not from what I've played.
Okay.
Yeah, and like Visa, it's only creepy for a certain length of time, and then you're like, I'm gonna get this motherfucker. I'm gonna win. This will be the run. This will be, once you start nerding out about the card game, the scariness goes away.
Okay.
It's really good. I'm enjoying Inscription a lot. I've made it to Act 2. There is a change that I don't like as much. I will say that. But I know that you would. Where
you're trying to get me to stream this so you can watch me stream this.
Well, I'd probably want to be there. It's fun. But I'm actually saying this, like, for me, where, and I've talked to VZ about this, and I've talked to a couple other people about this, where there is a change in Act 2 that fundamentally, like, kind of shifts what the game is about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why this is a very hard game to talk about, and an even harder game to review. So I'm looking forward to that. Where they basically change the rules up, more or less. Not really, but like that's as best as I can really get into. They change how the game is played. Sorry about that. I'm doing my best here, but like, yeah, there's a point where things get different. And then they introduce a new thing to juggle, and I don't like that. Because I don't like card games. But that's really, like, that's a me problem.
Alright.
Tony Pony, thank you for the follow. But overall, I will say, genuinely to anyone, play Inscription. It's very good. I'll give it a go. It's excellent.
You've convinced me. You've convinced me, genuinely. You've convinced me.
I don't want to get in.
You should stream it so I can watch. I will stream it so you can watch.
I might play more after our podcast today. I kind of need something to do tonight, so.
All right.
But maybe we could do a spoiler cast. That'd be pretty fun. That actually does sound really fun. We get VZ in.
Yeah.
We gotta both finish it though.
Oh, we'd have to wait until after the holidays then.
I think if once you picked it up, you would just devour it.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
GC. Me put 8 hours in on first run. You're not touching another game. You're not touching another game. No.
Then we'd have to wait until after the holidays so I can get through Persona.
All right. I think this could be your Persona killer. I don't know.
Oh. Says Big's words.
Says them is Big's words, and I'm the Persona boy. And I know you're the card game boy.
That's what the roguelike stuff included. Oh, okay. So that's actually not.
No, it's not a long game.
Okay.
But I kind of just want to redo, like, I just want to keep playing the roguelite stuff, because that's the part I was like, yeah, I fucking love this. I fucking love it. I love the randomness of it. That's what I really, like, get into. But anyway, besides that, there's only one other thing I really want to talk about that I've been doing. Sure. And there's a bunch of other stuff. Where I've been playing Minstrel Song. We kind of... Our friend group kind of all geeked out about Minstrel Song, like super hardcore. Minstrel Song is the latest Saga remaster. It's very good. Didn't you want that for Christmas? GC, do you want Inscription or Minstrel Song for Christmas?
I don't know yet. Find out when I buy stuff for the holiday sale. Where's the Persona Atlas? Waiting for a new Persona? I don't think we're gonna get new Persona.
That's probably next year. Did you play Iron Lung? No. Okay, Iron Lung. We're getting a bit ahead of ourselves news, but Iron Lung came to Switch. I need to get that. It's $6. Apparently that game is very scary, spooky. Have Christmas sales started yet?
No, well, some of them have, but the official Steam's holiday sale hasn't started yet, so not everything is on sale.
When does that start?
I don't know.
When it starts?
The 23rd, probably? 24th?
I feel like me getting you Inscription as a Christmas present
starts Thursday.
would be a lot more like of a good gift knowing your personality than me getting you Saga.
I mean, I might play Minstrel Saga, you know.
No, I know, but GC, I think all of your friends who are in chat right now would all agree with me that this is one of the most GC core games.
Everybody says this. Everybody says, "Oh, this is a GC core game. This is a GC core game." There is no GC core.
Chat, please.
There is no such thing as a GC core game.
Yes, there is.
Name one.
What's that fucking saga like? Last Remnant. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Bitch, we know.
The C in GC stands for core. It stands for great core because I'm doing my planks.
That's good though. Do your planks. Everyone do planks.
I did my plank. I did a 1 minute plank for the first time in
Doesn't it feel great? Maybe. Doesn't it feel great to hit a minute on a plank? I do.
And I could have gone for longer. I was very happy with myself.
What was I talking about?
I still got it. Bethesda games are GC core. Dragon Quest. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Enough out of you.
Oh yeah, Minstrel Song is very good. I wrote a review on it, so I don't really want to get too much into it. I wrote a very weird review on it. I compared Minstrel Song to that feeling when you have a list of errands before you're hosting a dinner party at your house, and that feeling of getting home and knocking all those like errands out with plenty of time to spare. And those errands were all over the city, but you managed that time so goddamn good that you're just like, that again, it's that glowing feeling that when you come home with that list of errands all cleared off, you did everything you need to, and now you're ready to have your fun party. And you're like, hell yeah, I nailed this shit. That's that's Minstrel Song. But I've also been playing Front Mission First Remake. That kind of follows a lot of Forever Entertainment's trends of releasing the game in a state and kind of patching it to make it a bit more complete and clean.
Classic modern game dev shit sometimes.
It's a fine remake. It plays it a bit too safe to the original. I'm way more excited for Front Mission 2. That remake looks awesome because apparently Front Mission 2 is just great. So, but last thing I want to talk about is just yesterday, because I talked about this, I think, last podcast, about a month ago.
Yeah.
I finished Space Runaway Ideon. And
now you talked to me about this.
We got in a call about 2 hours before we went live, and I just started talking to GC about Ideon. Ideon, for those of you who don't know, who want a little refresh, Tomino, the creator of the Gundam franchise, Ideon was his show, his expression of massive amounts of depression of Gundam getting canceled before Gundam got popular. It sits in that little spot, like that little window of, oh, Gundam came out and no one liked it, and oh, Gundam is back and Gundam is the biggest thing ever. It's in that little spot. It's that fucking hardcore hyper depression. It's that. And it was a very troubled production. Like, where they made 39 episodes of the show, but had planned for about 45. And then they found out they were getting canceled right around the end of the 39. So they had to rapidly conclude it in like 3 episodes. So again, the show got canceled and basically had an ending where like, and then a bunch of shit happened and that is it, the end. Like they it ends so abruptly. But apparently the fans liked it enough that they got greenlit to do 2 movies, which was a recap movie where they shoved 32 episodes into an hour and a half.
Somehow?
And that is called A Contact. I have not seen it. It's got some good music though, which we'll get to. Which I told GC about the music.
Which unfortunately, we will get to.
We will get to. We're heading back on one of our usual topics. And then they made a, I don't want to call it a sequel. It was a double feature of 2 movies, the recap and then the intended conclusion. How they wanted to end the show before they got canceled. And maybe they actually like diverted a little bit from the original, but we don't know. For all intents and purposes, Be Invoked is the conclusion of Ideon. So you watch the first 39 episodes and then you watch Be Invoked. You could even argue that maybe don't watch episode 39 because Be Invoked starts with a bit of episode 39. And then maybe you could argue that 39 kind of spoils the idea of the ending, but I don't think you'll lose that much. Because I don't think anything will prepare you for Ideon Be Invoked. Ideon, the show, is fine. It has a lot of very good ideas, but that production was so troubled, it kind of weasels its way in, and it affects the entire show. I don't think I told you this when we were talking about it in Call GC. Ideon is plagued by the Monster of the Week problem.
Okay.
Where every episode is, it's a new sergeant of the bad guys, and he's got a new mecha, and we've got it. It is a very repetitive show.
Okay.
I will still recommend to anybody. You can do whatever you want. I wouldn't recommend Be Invoked on its own, because Be Invoked, while it is a movie, is really just a long episode of a TV show. So, ideally watch Be Invoked after either the show or A Contact, but from what I've heard, watch the show. The build-up is very integral. If you're gonna do Ideon, might as well struggle through the show. Because I will give my little recommendation, my guarantee, it is worth getting through just for Be Invoked, which I tweeted out on my media thread when I finished Be Invoked. All of my senses are burning. It is like an attack on your soul. I think it is quite incredible to imagine people, a double feature of a recap of Ideon and then Be Invoked. I would have, there's no way you could expect how fucking insane Be Invoked is. And it's one of those things you can't talk about it too much. Like, I think the one thing pretty much everyone agrees that is like good to say is that it's like Be Invoked is how Tomino, well, Ideon in general is how Tomino got the nickname Kill 'Em All Tomino.
Oh,
It's one of the most fucking depressing shows you will ever watch, because I don't think there's a single moment in Ideon that makes you feel anything positive. Because it is characters making the wrong decisions at every point and dealing with the drawn out consequences, and you're just going through this miserable show, and you can't stop. You
gotta know how the train wreck ends.
You gotta see if they ever, and every time they almost get out of their situation, they're pulled back in. Like, I think I talked about this, where there's a whole episode early on where there's a point where they establish a moment early on where, like, hey, if there's a time for us to get out of, for negotiations to happen, to sit and talk and stop the fighting, it is now. But the main group, like a kid, one of the main characters puts up a white flag because in his language that symbolizes, hey, We don't want to fight. We want to surrender. We want to talk. But on the other side, they take that as a declaration of war. And then it's like from there, it's like, no, it breaks out into a miserable conflict. Like, yeah, someone in chat brought up Awakening of the Trailblazer. And those movies have had the same emotional impact, but are on completely different. Like, they basically, because 00 is is an adaptation on Tomino's Messages, but it has a better perspective. Not a better, it has a brighter perspective on humanity overall. And it has ideals on how humanity can dig themselves out of their hole. And it's to kill fascists. Where Ideon is Gundam if Gundam was secretly a cosmic horror show that's idea is that we are already gone and there's no saving us. And you just...
All right.
One of the most impactful pieces of mecha in history. And I think the fact that it was technically a failure has added to its impact, because to my knowledge there has never been an effort to revitalize or modernize Ideon. There's only been the show and the 2 movies, and that's it. They have never tried to bring this back. It's not like even Legend of the Galactic Heroes where people are like, oh, the remake, and I agree with someone in chat, with Mike in chat, where I don't think they should bring this back. This is a perfect encapsulation of the 80s, early 80s anime. And what's so brilliant about Ideon is you can see where everyone else got their ideas from, especially Anno. Anno, creator of Evangelion, was massively inspired by Ideon, and you can see it. I think Anno has a lot of, like, Evangelion, the show, is a bit more cohesive of a story, and it makes more sense, and it's more consistent. But something about Ideon, like, it is so weird. I don't think I liked the show Ideon until Be Invoked, and then it makes me think back on the whole journey, and I just go, one of the best shows ever made.
Wow.
One of the best, like space operas.
Retroactively
made that one of if not the best, because thankfully Evangelion isn't a space opera, so I can say I like Evangelion and I like Ideon, and I don't need to compare them. It's like, girls, you're both pretty. But as a space opera, Ideon is one of the best space operas ever made.
All right.
And funny enough, composed by Mr. Warcrime himself, Koichi Sugiyama.
Let's talk about composers who don't give a fuck about what they're composing for.
I won't say my man. That is not my man.
In our continuing R.I.P. Bozo saga,
Ideon really goes to show that Koichi Sugiyama was in it for the bag and never, brain empty, no thought on everything he ever composed. That man had no principles. He helped write music for some of the most thought-provoking works of art ever, with such progressive themes or ideas. It's so fucking funny that Ideon is his artistic peak. You've listened to a lot of Sugiyama in your life, I imagine. Naturally.
A good amount.
This is the first time because I sent GC a bunch of Ideon tracks before we hopped in on the podcast. What do you think?
You sent me a ballad. You sent me a funk song. You sent me a mech opening. They were really good tracks. Shockingly.
Would you...
Very different stylistically, to the point that it made me feel like he might have been phoning it in with Dragon Quest.
I was gonna say, if I were to utter the statement, Ideon is his best work, would you, based off of what you've heard, would you be able to disagree with me?
No.
Hearing Ideon's music is so interesting, because the fact that it's a Sugiyama work does. We were literally singing
We were
Sailing
talking about
Fly.
Sailing Fly.
No, we weren't talking. We were singing Sailing Fly in call.
I heard it once, and I started singing it.
It's just fucking.
It's a brainworm.
It's a brainworm song, and it's so weird because you listen to Ideon soundtrack, and besides hearing some of Sugiyama's little like musical tells, his little signatures, you can hear that. It doesn't like when you're playing Dragon Quest 11, you're like, ugh, fucking Sugiyama. Like you're just thinking that because you can hear the music and you know it sucks. You're like,
it's phoned in.
It's like
you can tell that it's reused tracks, it's reused compositions. He's not actually trying to like do anything different with it.
No.
He's not trying to revitalize it. He's not trying to like improve on parts of the song or change it for the context of where it's at in the specific game that it's in.
I'd feel a lot worse praising the soundtrack of Ideon if he was still alive, but now that he's dead, again, fuck it. It is so... The soundtrack of Ideon is basically a masterwork. Like, it was good in the show. It was funky and fun. Be Invoked is like... Be Invoked soundtrack is so beautiful.
Honestly, it's either that he phoned it in, he didn't care the fuck about what he made music for, or at some point he was like,
I'm rich.
Or he was duped into believing shit that he probably didn't always believe.
Yeah, I mean that probably just comes with being rich.
I like to imagine that at some
We can
point
see that with
he
Twitter
talked
right
to
now.
Tomino and he was like, "You're right, Tomino. We should kill them all."
And Tomino's like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, what?
So what are you talking about?
Oh my, yeah. So like, Sugiyama watches the end of Be Invoked and is like, I get it, Tomino. You're right about that. World War II was awesome.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I'm gonna
what?
write music for you and your genocide movie.
And it's like, wait, huh? It's like, what? It's like, yeah, you're right. The Japanese never committed war crimes. It's like, what? Huh?
What is wrong with this guy?
I don't think they ever worked together again.
No.
But it is so weird because Sugiyama's soundtrack is such an integral part of Ideon. And it's like, I really feel like after Be Invoked, he just stopped caring about music for the rest of his entire life. When did Dragon Quest come out? Was that the late 80s?
89, 86?
Yeah, because Be Invoked was 82.
Yeah.
And it really feels like after Dragon Quest got successful, he just is like, ah, the bag. I'm rich now. I don't give a fuck.
Sure.
Like, at the very least, I recommend people look up the Be Invoked soundtrack. Because I had this running idea that it's like Sugiyama is really bad at battle music. And he's even worse at boss themes. And that's the idea I had throughout like all of Dragon Quest. Except
but then Ideon has a fantastic theme that would work for a boss theme.
Well, yeah, no, one of the ones I sent you, I am trying to remember the exact name. Because I want to be able to tell people exactly what to listen to if they want like, let's see, Sailing Fly is so good. Okay, it is called Cantata Orbis. I want you to listen to Cantata Orbis. And for people who don't know names, but have seen Be Invoked, that's the song that plays in the last scene. As the movie loses its fucking mind. Cantata Orbis, and I want you to tell me that is not a good JRPG final boss theme. Or it man just phoned it in. Man did one good thing and said, I'm done. I stopped caring now.
Was that his first work?
I don't know. I don't know what his first work is. This was definitely one of his earlier works.
Okay.
I actually do want to find out what his first work was.
Do it.
Early life and television career. He started on TV and commercials. He did Cyborg 009. So yeah, that's ruined for you now too.
Fuck!
His first video game was World Golf. Okay, he started composing for film in like 59.
He's an old man.
He is.
Was an old man. Rest in peace, bozo.
No, rest in piss, bozo. This is so
He's
funny.
He's still trapped in your little Monster Rancher capsule.
He is!
Yeah, rest in peace, bozo. He's still there. We trapped him in that game, Cullen. We killed him.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
We put him in there. We put him in there. He's not coming out, everybody.
He did the
Cullen's
music.
Never playing Monster Rancher again.
He did the music for Your Story, I found out.
What?
Yeah. Which makes sense. That movie had... Do you still have that recording we did of Your Story? If you don't, I wouldn't be mad. Remember, we watched Your Story in a call together.
Oh, yeah, we did the commentary track. I might have deleted it recently, actually.
Ah, it's fine.
Hang on, I might still have
If you haven't, that'd be a good Patreon thing. But anyway, sorry for shilling Ideon. It is unfortunately okay. It's impossible to watch legally. It is no longer on any streaming services, so do what you must. It is also out of print. It is also out of print. The Blu-rays are no longer available, and I'm very sad to hear that because I would have, if I had known, I would have bought it up in a heartbeat. I am very, very sad that I could not officially support Ideon. Because I'm primed to buy merch right now. Unfortunately. GC, do you have anything to talk about while I go pee?
Not, I mean, I could...
Any news stories you want to get into?
Sure, I can talk about some news stories while you're out.
Alright, I'm sorry that I derailed with Ideon. I gotta piss out this sailing fly.
This guy thinks he derailed. What a jokester. Anyway, hello everybody. We could start talking about some certain things. For instance, Microsoft getting sued by everyone for trying to acquire Activision Blizzard. That's sort of an open and shut sort of deal here, to be perfectly honest. Microsoft is sort of very much encroaching on becoming another monopoly again. And that's always bad and no good, as always. Not really kind of open and shut case here. Maybe just don't become a monopoly. Maybe don't remove people's options to choose to buy from other places that are managed differently or have different views or different philosophies. That being said, it is Activision. Couldn't you have bought them sooner? That's my thing. Shouldn't you have bought them sooner so that you wouldn't be getting sued for this one? You know? And Sony only cares because of Call of Duty. True. That is very true. Yeah, it's sort of open and shut case, which makes this a great news story to cover while Cullen's in the bathroom. Because there's not much for us to add here, except, once again, corporations eating themselves is a good thing, but corporations monopolizing is a bad thing. And unfortunately, as the death of capitalism approaches and encroaches upon our way of life, companies will cannibalize each other, and eventually we will have mega corporations. I mean, we already have megacorps, but they will grow, and eventually they will be the only thing left standing, and that is when we will have to strike back and dismantle them piece by piece. So yeah, it's just going to be spun out into new companies. Sure. Other than that, other companies are getting sued. Riot Games is getting is it Riot Games? Riot Games is not getting sued. Fortnite is getting fined. Epic is getting fined for invading children's privacy and tricking players into buying stuff they didn't want. Yeah. I don't really know the story behind this one, but oh, that's right. Basically setting up their storefront so that kids will steal their parents' credit cards to buy things, and tricking kids into actually spending money on Fortnite without putting things in to stop them from it. The game is too addictive. No shit. Yeah. But also like not framing your purchases as being what they are, and microtransactions being deceptive towards children, stuff like that is what they're getting fined for, which good. Riot Games trying to get out a terrible crypto sponsorship deal. That's the headline straight out of Kotaku. We actually didn't do a whole lot of news stories this week, mostly because there wasn't a lot to say and we've kind of been behind on the news stories. That'll change with the next 2 weeks. But yeah, Riot Games is
back yet.
Oh, good. Riot Games now has to file for bankruptcy because they made an NFT deal with the NFT company that's also bankrupt, and their person's been arrested.
Is this new?
Huh?
This is hot off the presses?
This was published Sunday.
Oh. That's League of Legends, right?
Yeah. They signed a sponsorship deal with cryptocurrency exchange FTX, which, as you know, was the big bad explosion one. Mm-hmm. Where they lost a bunch of money. And now they're filing for bankruptcy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, to get the rest of the sponsorship deal nullified.
I wonder how this will affect League of Legends.
Riot Games, like LOL Riot Games? Yes, that Riot Games.
Yeah, I am LOL.
I'm going to go to the bathroom now.
Go pee pee poo poo.
You are going to stall for time.
Okay, for sure. Absolutely.
Rest in peace, bozos. I couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, chat. Do you want to talk about Turn A Gundam? We gotta talk about Turn A Gundam or more Ideon. I'll take suggestions. We're talking about mecha. So, like, Turn A Gundam looks really cool. The Blu-rays are currently on sale for $35, by the way, each right now. So if you want to, like, if you want to get into some, like, if you want to get into Turn A Gundam, because you can't stream it legally, the Blu-ray, yes, it is half off right now, and that's a pretty good deal for Turn A Gundam. Turn A Gundam is a 50-episode anime series, which is essentially like Tomino's magnum opus of Gundam. It is a kind of like a reflection on all of Gundam up to that point. Frequently stated by fans as the best Gundam ever made. And yeah, also probably never getting dubbed, unfortunately. Because unfortunately, it took many years to get Turn A Gundam over in the West. And one of the reasons probably is because it has a big mustache Gundam. But from what I have seen of Turn A Gundam, I need to do a full like restart. Turn A Gundam probably is some of the best animation I have ever seen in my one of the best animated 90s shows. Yeah. Okay, so someone in chat, for context, actually is listening to Kanata Orbis, and it's like, how was he able to cook? I'm starving. I'm so hungry. My palate can only be quenched by Turn A Gundam. So, So like I'm so into mecha right now. One of the things I want to get to next is Bottoms. That's on my list at the moment. And I'll take recommendations from like chat or YouTube comments, literally anything about like the good upper echelon mecha. But I need it. What are you eating? You eating chocolate? White chocolate?
Yeah.
I finished my baguette. I'm starving. I should have just gotten that. I should have made that noodle thing I told you about. Now I'm gonna eat even more food.
I'm fucking hungry.
I'm starving. I love Big O. Big O's on the list.
Big O's fucking fantastic.
I've heard Big O was great. When I finish this, I'll probably watch Zeta Gundam. I want to try to get back on my elliptical if it's not like turbo busted, and watch some more Zeta Gundam. Zeta Gundam is very good. But news.
I covered everything.
Really?
Except the Pixel remasters.
All right, fair enough. I mean, a lot happened news-wise, but
we weren't here.
The fucking kid from the Game Awards. We can talk about that.
You want to talk about the kid from the Game Awards?
Oh, well, okay. I feel bad because I feel like we shouldn't give him attention, but we're a little internet show no one watches, so I think we're fine. I think we're given a pass.
Okay.
I think we're good.
All right.
I feel like everybody at this point knows what this kid was about.
Yeah. How did he get through security? That's really the part of me that sticks. It's how did security not grab him? How did he get past that many people? Why did nobody stop him?
How did he walk up with the rest of them?
How did he do that? How did they do that? How does security that lax? Are you telling me somebody could have run up to any of the guests that were there as they were walking up and done anything to them? Like how is there not any security there?
The best you could say about this is that security is going to be increased significantly for next year.
How do you not have guys in the aisles?
I remember watching that with the show with my friends, and I thought it was a good Game Awards this year. I will say, it was a much better show than last year.
Yeah, we can talk about that. That was a really good show. I think it was a really good show.
But just like
really
coming
good collection of ads.
Yeah, but we've talked about, like, that's all it needs to be.
That's all it needs.
But like, just that moment at the very end, because like again, I feel like a lot of people have the same thing where it's like, who's that kid? That's weird. And then he says that, and it just
and you're like, what the fuck?
You're like, what
was that?
Like when it happened, I wasn't even able to process that it was anti-Semitic. Like it was. It just was like, what? Huh? He said, what? The Bill Clinton? What? And like the internet just fucking blows up. Like Twitter was just everybody going like, Bill Clinton? I didn't even hear the rabbi part.
But then we got Flute Guy out of it.
I'm glad Flute Guy became the hero, because honestly, I'm glad that pretty much everybody has stopped talking about that stupid fucking kid.
Yeah.
Like,
almost immediately.
Well, they would have stopped talking about him even more if Jason Schreier hadn't interviewed
him.
That's kind of more what I want to talk about. I think Jason Schreier.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I don't want to I don't want this to come all across as like shit talk, because fundamentally I just disagree with the choice to give this kid attention, especially when it is very obvious that this kid's a he's a right-wing grifter. I think is too nice of a word. He is a troll. And I think there's this idea that it's like, oh, he's just a troll. He can't do anything. He's just a troll.
You gave that kid a platform, Jason.
Yeah.
You gave him a 15. You made his 15 minutes of fame 16 minutes of fame, and you shouldn't do that.
No.
Just to have your name on the story.
Because this kid wanted attention.
And you gave it to him.
This kid wanted to be a public figure.
You're a high-profile games journalist. The minute you gave this kid time, you told him that he mattered in a way that he shouldn't have.
And also we hear the idea. It's like, oh, he couldn't have been anti-Semitic. He's Jewish. And granted, we do need to say, I'm not Jewish. You're not Jewish.
Do you know how many Hispanic people I know talk shit about Hispanic people and genuinely hate Hispanic people? Serious question to all the people out there who say he can't be anti-Semitic, he's Jewish.
Or like you can't believe in policies that go against like your ethnicity or sexual identity.
Do you think self-hatred isn't part of systemic oppression?
It is absolutely part of that. And I know this sounds a bit weird, like from my perspective as the white guy, but I can acknowledge that self-hatred is definitely a thing. Like, hold on, I need to confirm this real quick. Someone said something about okay, like Ben Shapiro is Jewish.
Don't even get me started on Ben Shapiro.
No, but like that's the point where it's like you can still believe in things and still peddle garbage that ultimately is like that makes your people look bad or go against the interest of other people.
Yeah.
Like it's not rocket science. So Jason Schreier's interview of that where it was like, well, I'm Jewish and I say that this kid was just a funny little troll. It's like, no. Like,
what was the purpose?
It really...
That is the question that you should ask whenever a journalist reports on a story. And I'm not saying this to be anti-media. I'm saying this to give yourself context and to give yourself like the importance, the significance of a piece. Why did Jason Schreier interview this kid? Why?
Yeah.
What is the purpose of interviewing the kid? Right? Not to you, Cullen, to like
I know.
The general people.
My brain big and smart.
Like, what is the purpose? What is this reporting on? How does this, like, what is the, what? You know?
Yeah, like, what's the angle?
What is the angle? And there was none other than I'm
breaking the story.
Yeah, I'm breaking the story. But what story is being broken here? That the kid's a piece of shit? And then to come out and be like, well, he's not a piece of shit. You could tell that he's actually just fucking around.
Yeah,
what?
And like there's something so weird about the whole like, oh, this kid is just a prankster. He doesn't actually mean anything bad. And you literally have like what appears to be hours of evidence of him on like InfoWars and telling women on like video podcasts that they're stupid and like I literally saw a clip of this kid being like, oh, you know how to read? Name me every book, that kind of shit. Like even if he's playing a character, it sucks and it's not like
it's not productive to what he thinks he's doing if it's a character that he's doing on purpose.
And I think that's why pretty much everybody has just stopped talking about it, is that they're just like, all right, well, whatever. It's like, okay. But besides that, it was a very good show. I actually enjoyed myself.
I liked it a lot. I suffered secondhand embarrassment when Al Pacino came out, but...
Yeah, they really should have not dragged that bag of bones out. They were like throwing rocks at that old man.
I don't understand. Certain choices made me laugh because I don't know why Jeff Keighley likes to open himself up to secondhand embarrassment.
I think Jeff Keighley just hates the elderly. He also got like those creators of King's Quest out. I think Jeff Keighley just sitting on his little throne. He's just like, yes.
And now they're gonna come out on stage and they're going to not know what to say.
They're gonna poop their pants.
And the kids on Twitter are gonna eat it up.
Ah, yes, I hate the elderly.
Nobody look at me steepling my fingers. Just look at my shoes and the way they don't match my outfit.
Yes. Oh, you know, like I think the Sierra Online people at the very least, like,
Oh, they're great.
they at least knew more what they were doing than fucking like Al Pacino, who's like, "Oh, you like the game?" And he just starts drooling all over.
You know, the kids say they like to game. You like to game?
I'm Mario.
I don't know what that means.
Too.
I like to play Super Mario.
I don't think he's that super duper. Oh, my teeth fell out. Hold up.
I love Hades 2 being announced.
All those announcements bang. The Final Fantasy 16 trailer looked real good.
Hades 2's looking pretty good. I'm excited. Can't wait for him to make a Hades 2 video.
Your Hades 1 video was quite good.
Thank you. Not enough people watched it.
I know. You can say that about all our videos. We deserve so much more. We deserve $1 million a day.
More than Mr. Beast anyway.
Ooh, got him. I think the only positive thing I've seen. Okay, wait, no, this sounds like shit talk. One of the, I was surprised.
It's okay. He has really. He's a misogynist, so it's fine.
Oh, cool. So I was surprised to see that Mr. Beast, not liking Elon's policy changes. Would not peg Mr. Beast like that, because he was like, "Hey, I don't like this." And that was really all he said. And the only reason I found out about this is that the quartering had his fucking meltdown. Where it's like, Jimmy, please be nicer to E1. Jimmy, take it back. Jimmy, come on. Jimmy, please.
Who said that?
The quartering.
To who?
Mr. Beast.
Is Mr. Beast's name Jimmy?
I think so.
Wait, so Mr. Beast came out and said, "I don't like this," and the quartering was like...
The quartering had a fucking meltdown over that Twitter poll. And thankfully, I saw this in the form of people screenshotting and not retweeting. I think people are learning. Never quote retweet. Honestly, stop quote retweeting. People just abuse...
Unless you want to support it.
Yes. People just abuse quote retweeting and use it to dunk on people and then just give those people more of a platform.
Yep.
Don't do it. But also, the quartering had a fucking meltdown when Elon Musk implied that he was leaving Twitter. That poll was so funny. For context, Elon bought Twitter, has already driven it into the ground, and then did a... "Do you like me? Yes or no?" on like a little like piece of paper, and everyone in the class wrote no.
No one likes
Everyone in the class wrote no, and then started throwing spitballs at the rich kid. It was like, ugh. It's really great. There's nothing like people are theorizing that the whole Twitter poll was like a work to see like something or like prove something right, and maybe that's true, but at the same time, millions of people got together, even though his poll was botted as shit, apparently, to pick no, and people still, in mass,
they still outvoted
that. And it was really funny, because you had a bunch of people who just spent a second being like, "Yeah, I hate that piece of shit," yes, and moved on with their life. And then for like 12 hours, muskies and stands and like crazy people were they were maulding and coping on a level we've never seen of just getting so fucking mad that Yes was winning. It was the funniest shit I have seen in so long. And it's like, it doesn't matter if this is a 3-dimensional chess game Elon's trying to pull. And I say 3-dimensional on purpose. This was not a misspeak. He's not as smart as he thinks he is. And like, I think he expected a different result.
Of course he did. He's an egotist.
And now
he's a narcissist.
And now,
they all are.
And now apparently he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make it so only Twitter blue people can vote on my special polls." And it's like, all right.
Well, now you're biased. So.
Well, yeah, not only that, but have fun when they all decide the worst decisions possible and dive bomb this company even further. It's beautiful.
Way to go, dumbass.
It's so beautiful. This entire thing. Like, I took a break from Twitter and I came back because it became such a shit show.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah, but they've already lifted the cross-posting ban. Because every fucking couple days, Elon's like, I have this new...
I have a great idea!
Everyone has to take a picture of them slamming their penis in the door. And it's like, that would hurt Elon. And it's like, no, what did you leftist beta? And then
watch.
And then XXX
penis in the door.
And then XXX Nazi super Hitler love Hitler says, I don't know, Elon, I like my penis. And he's like, that's a great point. I didn't think about it like that. No more penis slam.
Yeah, it breaks the competition laws or whatever, where you can't.
I love it.
The non-compete laws. I forget what it is.
I love it. I love it. I love. This is why we need social media, because
we can learn that people who are successful are actually morons and their success is off the backs of others.
No, but no, more importantly, because it makes because before in the olden days, if someone like Elon Musk was being a rich asshole, no one would have ever been able to tell him that.
Nobody would have been able to tell him that, and nobody would have ever known that he was a dumbass.
Yeah. So the fact that we because on social media, and I know celebrities fucking hate this, everybody's on the same playing field. And so people can just make fun of this dipshit billionaire, and he reads every single word.
And he hangs on to it.
He hangs on.
Like a fucking turd at the end of an asshole.
He hasn't learned the lesson that Homelander learned in The Boys, where it's like, you don't need to be liked. You're rich. You have power. But he gets so mad because he wants to be liked, and he clearly does not want to be the most hated man on the planet. And by buying Twitter, all he did was paint a big target on himself.
Bullseye.
A big bullseye.
You thought you could control the narrative by buying the platform. Little did you know.
It just makes you a target.
It just makes you easier to make fun of.
You have now taken the mantle as the protagonist of Twitter. And as everyone knows, you don't want to be the protagonist of Twitter. You don't want to be that guy. I love it. It's great.
I'm a big fan.
I'm a huge fan.
I want more cannibalizing of the billionaires.
I like the fact that he just blew $44 billion and is now no longer the richest man on earth. It's just, it's good.
I love it. I love watching Elon Musk squirm. It gives me a kick. Gives me a kick right in the cockles of my heart.
And I love how he keeps trying to lie and change narratives. And again, you're doing this on the biggest public platform. Twitter is the largest social media site. It is it's like if the public square was fucking everybody is on Twitter. As much as these people like to be like, oh, no one goes on Twitter. Twitter's not real life. No, blah, 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 blah. No. The entire world is seeing you be a fucking dipshit. The only people not on Twitter are the people too old to use Twitter or go outside. Like when he got booed at that Chappelle show and was trying to be like, it was the liberals who did it. It's like liberals.
How? It's a Dave Chappelle show.
No one, liberals aren't going to Dave Chappelle.
Liberals ain't going to no Dave Chappelle show, man.
You are just that unlikable. And this wouldn't have been a problem if you didn't open your fucking mouth and say that you were buying Twitter. Now everyone is looking at you and they
reap what you sow, asshole.
It's beautiful. I really think we can bully him off this platform.
I think so too.
And then what's important though is to bully the next guy too, because whoever is the next CEO.
We never stop bullying.
No, but the next CEO is probably going to be chosen by Elon. We bully him too.
Fair enough.
And we don't stop bullying these rich fucks until the musk has left. You can't, when you can no longer smell the musk, you're good. You can still bully after that, but that's the goal.
I like it.
Me too.
I like it.
Anything else you want to?
Hey, Cullen.
What's up?
What do you got planned this week? Or what do you got planned soon?
Christmas.
Crimbus.
I'm finishing up a video script tonight.
Oh, Crimbus.
And I'm gonna be trying to edit it throughout the week next week. Hopefully I'll get something on that. Something. Hopefully I get it done. My goal is to get the Chrono Cross final video out by end of the year. If it goes into next a little bit, that'll be unfortunate, but it happens. But that's my goal. It's about like 5 pages long, so not a huge one.
That's still good. That's a good amount of listening.
It's a bit meaty.
It's a bit meaty.
Yes, I am working on a video about the Radical Dreamers collection, which is briefly talking about the remaster and then talking about Radical Dreamers. So part 3 of that is finally coming out. And I'm looking forward to it.
Nice,
what do you got going on?
Well, I've got an episode coming out on the 29th. It's gonna be on drinking in video games. The title of the video is called The Wacky Video Game World of Irresponsible Drinking. And it's gonna cover drinking in video games as a whole, sort of the history behind it, why it's in games, the implications and consequences of that, what we should do going forward. It's the first episode of my Feature Creep series. I'm gonna try to get something commissioned for it.
Nice.
I accidentally commissioned for the wrong video.
Oh.
So I got a thumbnail done for a video that I'm not actually putting out yet. But I'm gonna see if I can make it happen. And if not, then it'll just have a temporary thumbnail that I'll probably also pay for to make sure it's a good thumbnail. But yeah, I've got that coming out. The Fist of the North Star video is done, so that's gonna come out after this. After that one, and that'll come out next year. And I've got 11,000 bajillion videos coming out because they're all done and they're all ready to go, and you're gonna like them.
I already have.
Starting to write. That's true.
They're very good.
A lot of them. If you, by the way, Cullen, if you want links to more of them, they're all unlisted, so I can just send you links to all of them.
I might. I do kind of like having them spread out though, and like getting them when all the patrons do, because it gives me something to like.
Yeah.
Gives me something to look forward to.
Eat.
Yeah. Because I watched
Sailor.
I watched them on while I like work my day job, and I'm like, yeah. Lightning's armpits. Wow.
Gross.
Yippee.
But yeah, I hope everyone's excited for that. Other than that, man, it's just gonna be more Persona 5 for me.
You looking forward to any
Judgment
games in January? We're very close to the new year.
Doesn't Odyssey come out or is that March?
Odyssey?
One Piece Odyssey.
Oh, that is January.
Yeah, I'll probably be playing that in January.
It is
for sure.
I don't think we will be back recording the show until like mid-January.
Mid-January?
Oh yeah, because I'm going to MagFest, and that's 2 weeks from now. Oh yeah, I'll be at MagFest.
Cullen's gonna be at MagFest. I did not go to MagFest this year because I couldn't afford to.
I was not planning to go to MagFest, and then one of my friends was like, "Hey, we got a room," and I was like, "If you're offering."
Yeah.
But yeah,
I could not get a room to MagFest because we both kind of like planned to get a room, and then the day the rooms came up, and we were like, what?
We were like, what? Oh, we're not ready. All right, well, I guess we're not going. And then I was told over dinner, I was like, hey, you guys are coming to MagFest with us, and we were like, oh, me and my girlfriend were like, okay,
sure.
Fire Emblem Engage comes out next month. Fuck.
That game looks good, which sucks because it's a crossover game, and I'm like, I feel weird about it.
All the trailers for that game look better and better than the last. I'm really excited for that game. Which is really funny because that first trailer repelled me.
I hope it turns out really good so that way I can play it and not feel weird about it. Because I've also seen stuff and like friends have been looking at it and been going, it looks pretty dope.
The cast of characters looks amazing. There's a lot of variety in all the different designs. It just looks like a great time. I'm excited for getting my hands on that. So yeah, we'll probably be back around the 10th or 11th of January.
Well, it's not too long from now.
About 3 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure to try to compile some news.
I mean, I think it's fun when we just shoot the shit.
Honestly, it's most of the podcast.
Yeah. But appreciate, as always, everyone stopping on by. Yeah, we got stuff in the oven. Check it out. And I guess that'll be it from us. So stay safe out there, have a happy holidays, and take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.